Chapter 94. Dai Mubai was right, the Shrek Academy was not the only one with monsters. The two great empires, many kingdoms, major sects, and the martial spirit palace all had their own genius monsters. But Brother Feng is participating for the first time. How could he be matched with such a soul master with a 10-match winning streak? Xiao Wu felt a little strange. The Qing Bao I met, his record was very ordinary. Tang San also felt a little puzzled. This is what you don't know about the Great Soul Arena. Dai Mubai shook his head and said, the Great Soul Arena is jointly founded by the 7 most famous soul master families in the whole continent, and it does not belong to any force. In other words, any genius soul master from any force is possible to appear in this Great Soul Arena. And the Great Soul Arena is relatively fair. Here, we will meet powerful soul masters from all over the world, and with a special matching mechanism, no one can say what kind of soul master they will meet. They belong to the same level, so it is normal to meet them. Dai Mubai's explanation made Tang San and Xiao Wu understand a little. But after hearing the explanation, Tang San was a little excited in his heart. This Great Soul Arena was really a good place. You can also fight with all kinds of soul masters from all over the world. By the way, you can also gamble here. If you have enough gold soul coins, you can go and gamble. The Shui sword below is very popular, even if this is the game area. There are a lot of people watching below. Ma Hongjun thought of something, laughed a few times and walked towards another place. The strength disparity in this competition is huge. Wang Feng's odds should be very high. I bet on him to win. Maybe I can make a fortune. Xiao Wu's eyes lit up when she heard this, and she hurriedly followed Ma Hongjun to the gambling counter. Ning Rongrong hesitated for a moment, glanced at Wang Feng in the Great Soul Arena below, and also followed to the gambling counter. Tang San shook his head. He was not very interested in this gambling fight. Zhu Zhuqing on the side also watched seriously. All eyes were focused on the Great Soul Arena below, because the battle was about to start. In the Great Soul Arena, on the circular seats, countless spectators were shouting crazily. This audience belonged to the 14th district, and there weren't many of them. But after the Blood E-Sword appeared, the number of people quickly increased. When Wang Feng walked down from the Great Soul Arena, many of the empty seats around were quickly filled with people. This Li Jian is probably a celebrity in the Great Arena. Wearing a mask, Wang Feng slowly walked into the Great Soul Arena. Light sprinkled down from the surrounding lights, illuminating the entire Great Soul Arena as if it were daytime. Looking around, Wang Feng could see the crazed expressions on the faces of many spectators, which gave Wang Feng a sense of familiarity. During the S8 World Championship Finals, many of the spectators had the same expression. Wang Feng sighed softly. Although he had come to the Douluo world, there were many things here that made Wang Feng recall bits and pieces of his previous life. Amidst the frenzied shouts, one wave after another overshadowed the other. In the VIP room, Your Highness, this should be the simplest battle Li Jian has ever fought. Bishop Jack said with a smile. I didn't expect to meet a level 30 support-type soul master. In this kind of Great Soul Arena, no support-type soul master would fight one-on-one. Li Jian is lucky. I will arrange another match later to let you see Li Jian's strength. The young man frowned and didn't speak, looking at the masked youth below. Vaguely, the youth's figure gave him a somewhat familiar feeling. I estimate that within 3 moves, Li Jian should be able to defeat this support-type soul master. Bishop Jack said with a bit of pride. Li Jian was the soul master with the highest aptitude and talent that he had gathered for the martial spirit palace in the past few years in the area of Soto City. From the beginning of the first battle, Bishop Jack could be said to have carefully arranged various opponents for Li Jian to sharpen his skills. Is that so? The young man frowned. At this moment, in the Great Soul Arena, it suddenly quieted down, and the two couldn't help but look. With this look, they were stunned. Level 30 support-type Soul Master? On the opposite side, the youth named Li Jian, with a cold gaze, said indifferently, "Admit defeat yourself, you are not my opponent. Although this is only a gambling area, my sword must see blood." His bearing was extraordinary, and his style was not bad. The youth's face was like a crown jade, wearing a scarlet robe, and his long hair was tied into a braid, giving off the feeling of an ancient youth. Wang Feng sighed. Someone actually dared to show off in front of him. Then there was no other way. A breath, just as he sighed. The next moment, Wang Feng suddenly disappeared in place. Almost in an instant, the great soul arena suddenly quieted down. Boom. Fast. Extremely fast. It seemed that even the ground couldn't withstand the power of Wang Feng's foot, and countless cracks appeared. The originally noisy Great Soul Arena immediately quieted down. Boom. The next moment, the youth named Li Jian's face changed. 2 dark yellow 100-year soul rings rose from his body. However, just as they rose, his whole body seemed to be smashed by a few thousand kilograms of iron hammer. He turned into a red light and was directly blasted out. When he landed on the ground, he even pulled out a long dent, and then hit the wall, raising countless dust. In an instant, the entire arena was dead silent. It was completely silent. The battle was over. Even the referee was stunned for a long time. Wait, what happened just now? Countless people only saw a blur in front of their eyes. The moment the ground under the masked youth's feet cracked, a stream of air burst out. Then, on the other side, Li Jian, who had won 10 matches in a row, directly flew out. Even Li Jian didn't have time to use his martial soul. His soul ring had just risen. The referee rubbed his eyes, and only then did he see the masked youth standing where Li Jian was. He hurriedly walked over, raised Wang Feng's hand, and said in a trembling voice, "I announce that the Auxiliary Soul Master Saul won. Record, 1 win and 0 losses. Li Jian, record, 10 wins and 1 loss." As soon as the voice fell, the Great Soul Arena fell into a strange atmosphere. In the VIP room, the young man narrowed his eyes, looked at Bishop Jack, and said with a smile that was not a smile, "3 moves?" Bishop Jack's forehead was covered in sweat. He didn't expect that just after he finished speaking, the situation in the Great Soul Arena would change like this? And it was an outcome that he didn't expect at all. This. Bishop Jack couldn't say a word, and only dared to look at the masked youth on the field from the corner of his eyes. How could this be just an auxiliary soul master? Too naive. The young man snorted coldly. "When you're on the field, you should brazenly attack and kill in 1 blow. This Li Jian is persuading people to admit defeat? He wants to be in the limelight, is he crazy? Look at his reaction, without saying a word. He directly defeated Li Jian in 1 move. This is what a real powerhouse should be like. Whether he is an auxiliary soul master or not, just this kind of fighting attitude should be learned by you, Li Jian. What kind of genius did you find?" Chapter 95. The young man stood up and glanced at Bishop Jack with dissatisfaction. "Our martial spirit hall wants geniuses. Talent is only one of them. Talent alone is not enough. After fighting 10 matches in this Great Soul Arena, you're still at this level? Did you arrange all the opponents?" Bishop Jack couldn't say a word after being reprimanded. "Okay, go and check this Saul. This support-type soul master is a bit interesting. His strength should be far beyond Li Jian's. He is not simple. If he comes to the Great Soul Arena tomorrow, let the Great Soul Arena arrange for him for me in the next match. I want to fight with him personally," the young man said slowly with his back facing Bishop Jack. Hearing this, Bishop Jack was taken aback. "Your Highness, with your dignity, how can you go to this Great Soul Arena? And your strength is far beyond the 30th rank. I'll just suppress my rank." "Okay, stop talking nonsense, I'm leaving." The young man didn't look back and left directly after speaking. Bishop Jack's face turned red and white. He could only sigh and nod. "Isn't that too fast?" In the resting area, Dai Mubai and the others stared at this scene dumbfounded. This Li Jian is too careless. He actually has the mind to persuade people to admit defeat? So pretentious? If you have the strength, you can pretend, but if you don't, what are you pretending for? Dai Mubai shook his head. Even if the opponent is in support-type Soul Master, he should have gone all out, right? How did these 10 wins come about? Looking at the situation, he is a proud son of heaven from some force. Every match is specially arranged for him, right? Unfortunately, this time he met Wang Feng, this abnormal. I thought there would at least be a fierce battle. With that, Dai Mubai also said to everyone, "See, this Li Jian is a clear example. Remember, in this great soul arena, you must not pretend, because we will never know what strength our opponent is hiding. You must go all out." Tang San nodded heavily. On the contrary, Wang Feng's moves are very decisive, without the slightest hesitation. Dai Mubai couldn't help but exclaim. He even ignored the opponent's provocation. This is a qualified soul master in the great soul arena. To be honest, even I can't be as decisive as him. When you possess the strength to crush your opponent, you must remember that you cannot slack off in the slightest. You must give the enemy a full blow. Tang San agreed. The third rule of the Tang sect's Xiantian treasure record. Once you've confirmed that your opponent is an enemy, don't show mercy as long as they have a way to die. Otherwise, you'll only add to your troubles. Big Brother Feng didn't even give his opponent a chance to attack. Simple, direct, and violent. Very much in line with this rule. Ha 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 ha, Brother Feng really won. Brother, I won 1,000 gold soul coins. Xiao Wu skipped over, her face as bright as a blooming flower. Ning Rongrong also walked over with a smile. Obviously, she had also received a generous reward. F***ck, Wang Feng is too abnormal. Ma Hongjun was also hugging a bag of gold soul coins. I just pressed it down. It hasn't even been a minute. As expected of a monster who can suppress teacher Zhao and not suffer a single injury. Ma Hongjun had already heard about the battle between Tang San and Wang Feng against teacher Zhao on the way here. Not long after, Wang Feng walked over and yawned. That kid is too pretentious. I really couldn't hold it in. I originally wanted to play with him. Everyone. Dai Mubai coughed a few times. Let's go to the 2v2 area. The group walked out of the Soul Master Passage and arrived at the 2v2 area. Wow, there seem to be more people here. Xiao Wu looked at the spectator stands outside. It was full of people. Because there are various combinations in the 2v2, the fight is also exciting. Oscar seemed to be hungry. He said while eating a grilled sausage, even support-type soul masters have a chance to fight, but it's very rare. Most of them are soul warriors, or control-type soul masters. In this kind of arena, support-type soul masters can only increase their status. They can't compare to a soul warrior's fighting strength. Everyone understood this logic. For example, even if Ning Rongrong gave a companion a 30% increase in strength and agility. However, it couldn't be compared to having an additional soul warrior, which was much more useful. Hee, then isn't my brother's combination perfect? I can be the main attacker, and he can also be the auxiliary attacker and control the enemy? Xiao Wu thought wittily. Tang San is a little special. Dai Mubai coughed. Moreover, with hidden weapons, his strength is not inferior to a soul warrior. As long as you don't meet a strong combination, it shouldn't be difficult to win. But just as Dai Mubai finished speaking, the host on the Soul Battle Arena below announced, next match, Qingfeng combination against 3-5 combination. Suddenly, the few of them fell silent. Ha, another civil war. Oscar couldn't help but laugh. Xiao Wu, Tang San, this time you are up against Wang Feng and Zhu Zhuqing. Xiao Wu's face was a little stiff and she shouted, how can it be like this? We can't beat them at all, Brother Feng. Tang San was also a little speechless. They really couldn't win against Brother Feng alone. Zhu Zhuqing also looked at the two of them and didn't know what to say for a moment. No, Brother Feng. You are an auxiliary-type soul master, you can't make a move. Xiao Wu walked in front of Wang Feng and said shamelessly, you can only use one auxiliary ability later. Everyone. Tang San covered his face with his hand, feeling a little embarrassed. Wang Feng laughed and said, okay, I won't make a move, I'll just stand there. I'll only use one auxiliary ability, just my first soul skill. Is this okay? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Damn, he really agreed? Yeah. Xiao Wu laughed. Brother Feng won't make a move and only use one soul skill. Zhu Zhuqing alone can't beat us. Brother, our chances of winning are very high. You really agree to this condition? Zhu Zhuqing seemed to find it interesting and looked at Wang Feng. I've already lost once. What she meant was that she didn't want to lose a second time. Wang Feng smiled but didn't say anything. Xiao Wu, your brother Feng's first soul skill is a divine skill. Just right, I'll let you see it officially. I don't believe that you'll have the nerve to make a scene in front of so many people and make your brother Feng admit defeat. Interesting, I'm looking forward to the battle later. Ma Hongjun looked at the two teams and felt that it would be very fun later. Ning Rongrong snorted. Although she was a little unhappy to see Zhu Zhuqing and Wang Feng team up, she was also looking forward to the battle later. If you only use your first soul skill and don't make a move, that means Zhu Zhuqing will have to face two people at once. Dai Mubai felt that Xiao Wu's request was too much. How can she win? That place was already disadvantageous to agility-type soul masters. Just now, when Zhu Zhuqing and Tang San were 1v1, they were suppressed like this, and lost in the end. Chapter 96. He was controlled by Tang San the whole time, and had to admit defeat in the end. I don't care, Brother Feng has already agreed. Xiao Wu said happily, Brother, let's go, it's our turn. Zhu Zhuqing and Wang Feng also walked down from the passage to the soul fighting arena. I want to win. On the way, the silent Zhu Zhuqing said. Definitely win. Wang Feng nodded. How do you win? Zhu Zhuqing looked at Wang Feng. This young man had all kinds of incredible abilities, mysterious and powerful. But if he promised Xiao Wu and only used his first soul skill and didn't make a move, it meant she had to fight one against two later. Just Tang San alone, in this restricted field, it was difficult for her to win. Not to mention there was also Xiao Wu, who was not inferior to Tang San. It's very simple, I'll give you my first soul skill, you can fight one against two and crush them. Wang Feng said. Zhu Zhuqing's words were very brief. Wang Feng felt it was very interesting and also learned from her. Zhu Zhuqing was silent. Impossible. No matter how powerful the auxiliary soul skill was impossible for her to fight one against two. Even if Ning Rongrong's two soul skills were added together and doubled, it would still be difficult for her to fight one against two. Crush? Did he say it the other way around? The two walked silently all the way to the soul fighting arena, countless eyes were watching. Brother Feng, don't say we bullied you. I'll let you use your first soul skill. Xiao Wu said happily. For some reason, looking at Xiao Wu's excited look, Tang San had a bad premonition. Wang Feng was not polite at all, and a dark purple soul ring lit up on his body. Seeing this purple soul ring, many spectators exclaimed, "This young man actually has a 1,000-year soul ring? He's not a soul elder, is he? Although he's wearing a mask, he doesn't look old." A 1,000-year soul ring, only the top students in our academy have it. Wang Feng didn't reveal two soul rings, and only revealed one. Therefore, no one could determine how many soul rings he had revealed. The color of Big Brother Feng's 1,000-year soul ring seems to have deepened. However, Tang San's expression was extremely grave when he saw this soul ring. Others might not be able to tell, but as a disciple of a grandmaster, his judgment of soul rings was extremely accurate. Could it be that the age of Big Brother Feng's soul rings will increase? Tang San could not help but be shocked. He had never heard of such a thing. Soul skill deification. At this moment, the golden lotus in Wang Feng's palm blossomed with light. One of its petals shattered into golden light and instantly entered Zhu Zhuqing's body. The next moment, countless pairs of eyes were looking at Zhu Zhuqing as she underwent a shocking transformation. She was originally dressed in a tight suit, which showed off her perfect figure to the fullest. At this moment, his entire body was covered in a layer of faint golden light, which added to his charm. Those two colored eyes were filled with golden light, giving people an extremely holy feeling. She also had the nether demon cat martial spirit. At this moment, after the martial spirit had possessed her body, her face looked a little cold and charming. The two contradictory temperaments merged into one at this moment. Stunning. Incomparably stunning. The most shocking thing was that her entire body was surrounded by a layer of faint lightning that crackled. Even her long black hair seemed to be plated with a layer of golden light. Wow, is this Wang Feng's first soul skill? Not to mention other things, just the effect of changing clothes and beautifying it will probably be popular with many girls. Ma Hongjun looked at it with envy. Indeed, after Wang Feng used deification on himself, his appearance also changed. Of course, it did not really change his facial features, but changed his temperament. So beautiful, Ning Rongrong looked at this scene and felt sour in her heart. Sour because she envied Zhu Zhuqing, who had become even more beautiful at this moment. Dai Mubai, who was at the side, also stared with his eyes wide open. He did not expect Wang Feng's first soul skill to have such an additional effect. Not to mention them, even Wang Feng himself did not expect Xiao Wu attack. Tang San was not confused by the scene in front of him. The moment Wang Feng's voice fell, he immediately shouted, "Okay. But next time, I also want Brother Feng to use deification on me. This is too beautiful," Xiao Wu muttered. She directly used martial soul possession and rushed towards Zhu Zhuqing. Blue-silver grass. Tang San took a deep breath and shook his hands towards the ground. Countless vines rushed into the sky. They formed the shape of an inverted bowl. In an instant, Zhu Zhuqing was covered. "Zhuqing, I'm coming!" Xiao Wu leapt high into the air, stepping on the surrounding vines formed by the blue-silver grass, and nimbly attacked Zhu Zhuqing at this moment. However, at this moment, Zhu Zhuqing's eyes shook, and a golden wave spread out with her as the center. She did not know her current appearance and did not care. The only thing she cared about was the strength of her body. Zhu Zhuqing took a deep look at Wang Feng, who was standing beside her. Her golden eyes were filled with intense shock. Her hands formed into claws, and Zhu Zhuqing's figure disappeared in an instant. Xiao Wu was stunned. The next moment, she felt a cold light coming from behind her. In the distance, Tang San shouted, "Xiao Wu, be careful! She's behind you! Her speed has increased. Don't underestimate her." Xiao Wu didn't turn around when she heard that. Instead, she tilted her head back. Whoosh! The golden light, along with traces of lightning, flashed past the tip of her nose. Xiao Wu took this opportunity to grab Zhu Zhuqing's calf with both hands. She wanted to use a direct soft technique to climb onto Zhu Zhuqing's body, and then use waist bow. However, when she grabbed Zhu Zhuqing with both hands, an intense numbness came from Zhu Zhuqing's body. Ah! The feeling of being electrocuted made Xiao Wu subconsciously release her hands. She felt that her hands had lost consciousness. She couldn't help but be shocked. Whoosh! Taking advantage of this opportunity, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly grabbed Xiao Wu's neck with her claws and said indifferently, "Xiao Wu, you've lost." The numbness, as if struck by lightning, spread from Zhu Zhuqing's hands to Xiao Wu's body through her neck. It only took a few seconds. In those few seconds, Several vines came from the wall of vines in the air and bound Zhu Zhuqing's hands and feet. However, Xiao Wu, who had fallen from Zhu Zhuqing's hands, also collapsed on the ground. She was like a rabbit that had eaten too much carrot. All she wanted to do was to lie on the ground and twitch her fingers from time to time. Brother, Zhu Zhuqing's electric threads have a very strong numbing effect. It's even worse than your poison. When I grabbed her, I couldn't hold her anymore. Xiao Wu's feeble voice came. Tang San sucked in a breath of cold air. He knew that Brother Feng's first soul skill would not be simple. It had a numbing effect and protected the whole body. It was the nemesis of melee. Whoever touched it would be paralyzed. Chapter 97. Unfortunately, I'm a long-range control type. Second soul skill. Parasitism. Tang San shouted in a low voice. Because he had used the blue-silver grass to surround Zhu Zhuqing, she had no space to use her skills at all. He could also use a control-type attack in the air at any time. Now, Xiao Wu had temporarily lost her ability to fight. So Tang San could only use his second soul skill to wrap Zhu Zhuqing tightly and then use poison to make Zhu Zhuqing lose her ability to fight. Zhu Zhuqing originally only had her hands and feet tied with vines. After the parasitism was activated, countless vines appeared all over her body. Zhu Zhuqing was wrapped up like a dumpling, with only her head exposed. Tang San relied on this move to win the 1v1 just now. Looking at the wrapped Zhu Zhuqing, Tang San's eyes narrowed slightly. It was at this moment that Zhu Zhuqing wisely chose to admit defeat. Admit defeat? This time, just in case, I've used my first soul ring. The poison of the mandala snake will gradually invade your body and make you feel numb. After a while, you will lose your ability to fight. Tang San stared at Zhu Zhuqing. At this moment, Dai Mubai and the others in the resting area were also watching closely. They all knew that Zhu Zhuqing had lost just now. And this time, Tang San even used the poison in his first soul ring, just in case. Wang Feng watched leisurely from the side. He didn't seem to be worried. Admit defeat? Zhu Zhuqing smiled. This was the first time everyone saw Zhu Zhuqing smile. Her smile was intoxicating. She was extremely cold and elegant, but when she smiled, she was indeed full of charm. Many of the audience were stunned. You want me, Zhu Zhuqing, to admit defeat? This time, it won't be so easy. Zhu Zhuqing's face suddenly flushed red, and the golden light in her eyes shone brightly. In an instant, strands of golden light slowly emanated from the dense vines, accompanied by streaks of golden electricity that flowed through the vines. Shit! It was the lightning on her body that caused my vines to soften. Seeing this, Tang San immediately knew that something was wrong. Rumble! The next moment, all the vines wrapped around Zhu Zhuqing's body were reduced to dust. Light flashed. Quick! It was too fast. Tang San exclaimed. Her speed was too fast. This was definitely not the speed that Zhu Zhuqing should have. He had fought with her just now. Purple demon eyes. Wisps of purple light appeared in Tang San's eyes, but he could barely catch a glimpse of Zhu Zhuqing's figure. On the right, Tang San activated the mysterious jade hand and used the controlling crane capturing dragon to meet Zhu Zhuqing's claw. However, with this touch, Tang San felt a huge force coming from Zhu Zhuqing's claws. It made him take a few steps back. His arm felt sore and numb. How can Zhu Zhuqing's strength be so strong? She is an agility-type martial soul. The Netherworld Civet is not a strength-type martial soul. Tang San was shocked. Although Zhu Zhuqing's speed was fast, his purple demon eyes could clearly perceive it. But now, it was difficult to catch a glimpse of Zhu Zhuqing's figure. Her speed was at least several times faster. Moreover, even the mysterious jade hand could not completely resist the lightning paralysis effect of the opponent's power. Bang! 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 Tang San and Zhu Zhuqing exchanged several moves in an instant, during which, He used the blue-silver grass to trap Zhu Zhuqing again and used the poison attached to the blue-silver grass. However, something strange happened. Zhu Zhuqing's speed did not decrease at all. It was as if she was not affected by his poison at all. No, no, no. Tang San's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Could it be that she is immune to my poison? How can this be unless it's Brother Feng's soul skill? That deified soul skill, can it be immune to poison? Tang San did not know. Wang Feng did not know either, but now he knew. The increase in the age of the soul ring would definitely give an obvious upgrade to the soul skill, not to mention that it was an increase in the upper limit of 2,000 years. And the upgrade of the soul skill gave the deified soul skill an additional immunity to poison. Because the golden thunder leopard had the power of thunder and lightning, its resistance to poison was also very high. But at this time, the increase in age allowed the deified soul skill to have another effect. After a moment, Tang San could not hold on and was defeated by Zhu Zhuqing's claws. There was no other way. In a close combat, that kind of paralysis attack was completely unavoidable. This meant that as long as he came into contact with her, his physical state would definitely decline, and her speed was too fast. His vines were also trapped, and the poison was not effective. Tang San was also unable to find a way to obtain victory, unless he used a hidden weapon. But the hidden weapon's lethality was too strong. Tang San would not use it casually. Bang! Half an hour later, Tang San lay on the ground and said with a wry smile, "Okay, I admit defeat." The battle lasted for half an hour. At this time, the golden light on Zhu Zhuqing's body still did not dissipate, indicating that she was still in a good state. As Tang San admitted defeat, the square burst into cheers. Damn, she really won? Ma Hongjun watched in disbelief. How did she win? Xiao Wu seemed to have only exchanged a few moves with Zhu Zhuqing before she lost her fighting strength? It should be the lightning on her body. Ning Rongrong said, "I guess it should give the enemy a paralyzing effect." And, judging from just now, Zhu Zhuqing's speed and strength have improved greatly in all aspects. She was an auxiliary-type soul master and was very sensitive to enhancement effects. And it seems that Zhu Zhuqing is also immune to the poison in Tang San's blue-silver grass. Oscar continued, "I suspect that Zhu Zhuqing ate my sausage in advance to avoid the poison." Oscar's sausage had the effect of detoxifying and removing abnormal state. "No, your sausage can't detoxify instantly." Dai Mubai pondered. "I'm afraid it's that divine soul skill that can give a soul master immunity to poison. It's too abnormal." With the end of the 2v2 match, the four of them returned to the lounge. Xiao Wu looked bitter as if she had eaten a bitter gourd. She was listless and her face was completely flat. Tang San was also a little embarrassed. They wanted to laugh, but they couldn't. "Thank you," Zhu Zhuqing said to Wang Feng. She returned to her original state. Wang Feng waved his hand. "You're welcome. I finally know why Brother Feng always calls himself an auxiliary-type soul master." Xiao Wu clenched her fists and looked like she was going crazy. It reminded Wang Feng of an expression on QQ. Everyone looked at Wang Feng and instantly understood why Wang Feng called himself an auxiliary-type soul master. What the F***CK? Who could withstand a deified soul skill? Ning Rongrong looked at Wang Feng in a daze. One soul skill, just one soul skill. Wang Feng's auxiliary ability could be said to be the best on the continent. Although it's only a single target auxiliary soul skill, it's too exaggerated. Chapter 98. Wang Feng smiled when he heard this. The deified soul skill was not just a single soul skill. It was a group skill. It just consumed more soul power, but he could only use a few. It was not like the 7 treasures glazed pagoda, which covered a large area. Each had its own characteristic. Zhu Zhuqing's lips moved, but she didn't say anything. Dai Mubai and the others just watched the battle from the side. In fact, only Zhu Zhuqing knew how much she had improved. 3 times. Yes, at least 3 times of an all-round physical improvement. After feeling the effects of the deified soul skill, she didn't even use all of her strength just now. Therefore, even Tang San might not be able to completely detect her increased strength. It was too terrifying. That kind of powerful feeling made Zhu Zhuqing feel extremely strong. Hey, I think the most powerful thing about your first soul skill, Wang Feng, is that it can change your appearance. Ma Hongjun laughed. When are you going to give me one? Ma Hongjun was very dissatisfied with his appearance. I can't. Wang Feng glanced at Ma Hongjun with a troubled look. I'm afraid you can only be reconstructed. My deified soul skill can't save you. When everyone heard this, they burst into laughter. Ma Hongjun. It was too heart-wrenching. Don't worry, I feel that after your martial soul evolves, your appearance will definitely change. Wang Feng continued. In the original work, Ma Hongjun had changed. Hearing this, Ma Hongjun felt much better. Okay, let's go back. Master has already gone back. Dai Mubai coughed a few times and said, Go back and recall today's battle. The group walked out of the soul battle arena. Cough cough Mubai, I'm going to teacher's place. At this time, Ma Hongjun said mysteriously, Are you going? After saying that, Ma Hongjun pursed his lips. Dai Mubai's face changed. If it was in the past, he would definitely go. But now, he definitely wouldn't. Get lost. Dai Mubai hurriedly waved his hand. Hey, Boss Dai, when did you become so reserved and pure? Ma Hongjun looked at Zhu Zhuqing thoughtfully and said in a low voice, Why? Don't tell me you're serious about this? Nonsense, do you think my taste is as bad as yours? Attack anyone you see? Dai Mubai couldn't help but curse. Ma Hongjun shook his head in disdain. He had no other choice. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to that kind of brothel to seek pleasure. However, seeing Dai Mubai's evil eyes flickering, Ma Hongjun pursed his lips. After bidding farewell to everyone, he left first. Tiger Dai, where did Fatty Ma go? Xiao Wu asked curiously. Cough cough, the evil fire in his body is very strong. Naturally, he has to suppress it. Dai Mubai smiled and said, There is a place in Soto City called the brothel. A brothel, in ancient times, it was a brothel, Wang Fengxin thought to himself. Fatty Ma wanted to go to the big treasure sword. Brothel? Go to that kind of place? Tang San was startled. He had naturally heard of this before. Dai Mubai shrugged and said, This is a problem that can't be helped. Ma Hongjun needs to vent his evil fire. Otherwise, he won't be able to cultivate. Normal women won't be able to withstand it. So, he can only go to that kind of place. We can't let him explode and die. Wang Feng felt that it was interesting. This was openly going to the big treasure sword. Dirty. Zhu Zhuqing whispered. I also think it's dirty. Ning Rongrong agreed. Wang Feng smiled. The matter between men and women couldn't be said to be dirty. For example, in his previous life, many couples had to hold it in because the wife was pregnant. It was bad for the body. They could only solve it through other means. This was human nature. However, it was not good to be reluctant to leave those kinds of brothel. Ma Hongjun was an exception. Hee, Tiger Dai, Fatty Ma pulled you just now. Do you go there often? Xiao Wu's eyes turned and she couldn't help but ask with a smile. Dai Mubai's expression changed. Although he didn't go there often, it was because his taste was different. The female companions he found were all of high class. In Wang Feng's words, they were high-class prostitute. Thinking of this, Wang Feng shook his head. This was a blind spot in his knowledge. In his previous life, he was a dutiful otaku and had never been to that kind of place. How can I go there often? Dai Mubai quickly denied. My taste is much better than Fatty Ma's. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing's eyes turned cold when she heard this. She said coldly, Your taste is better than his? What a joke. It's just 1 gold coin and 100 silver coins. What's the difference? Wang Feng was dumbfounded by this strange analogy. Jojo's strange analogy? Everyone was also stunned. Dai Mubai was stunned for a moment. Only then did he realize that he had said something wrong. In essence, there was no difference. It was a difference in nature. Dai Mubai, you disgust me. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes were filled with contempt and disdain. She turned and left after saying that. As soon as she said that, the surrounding air froze. Tang San and the others didn't know about the relationship between the two. Only Wang Feng knew that the two of them had a marriage contract. When Dai Mubai heard this, his blood boiled. Anger rushed from the bottom of his heart to his brain. This anger made Dai Mubai lose his mind. His aura surged as he rushed in front of Zhu Zhuqing and said angrily, "Stop right there!" After saying that, his palm emitted a terrifying light as he waved it at Zhu Zhuqing. The group of people was completely stunned by this scene. They didn't expect Boss Dai of Shrek Academy to lose his composure like this. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Dai Mubai and grabbed Dai Mubai's palm that was about to fall. Then, a low voice sounded. "Dai Mubai, I don't want to interfere with your private affairs, but we're outside. Don't do anything rash." "Do you want to embarrass Shrek Academy? Do you want to embarrass us?" Everyone looked over and saw that it was Wang Feng who had grabbed Dai Mubai's palm in time. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that. If they really fought, it would be embarrassing. Dai Mubai was startled by Wang Feng's words. He was about to retract his palm. However, Zhu Zhuqing turned around and raised her chin slightly. She said coldly, "Wang Feng, let go. Let him hit you." Wang Feng. These girls are too stubborn. When he thought of Ning Rongrong, Wang Feng couldn't help but feel that girls were all the same. Wang Feng thought for a moment and let go of Dai Mubai's hand. "You!" Dai Mubai glared at Zhu Zhuqing. In the end, he sighed dejectedly and retracted his hand. Now that he came to his senses, he couldn't continue fighting. Fortunately, Wang Feng stopped him in time. Otherwise, they would have really started fighting. "Heh!" Zhu Zhuqing snorted coldly and turned to leave. This time, she didn't look back. Dai Mubai's expression was extremely gloomy. He also turned to leave. The two of them walked away with their backs to each other. Everyone was confused when they saw that. Only Wang Feng shook his head. The night was getting darker. No one knew when the sun would rise. Chapter 99. The group returned to the academy. Because too many things had happened today, everyone returned to their rooms in silence. "Rongrong, why do I feel like you've changed today?" In the dormitory, Xiao Wu took off her coat and said to Ning Rongrong, "During the day, Big Brother and I both thought you wouldn't be able to finish 20 laps." Ning Rongrong was casually hanging her coat on the hanger. When she heard this, her body stiffened slightly. "Big Brother told me that you're the eldest daughter of a big family. You're a little delicate and might not be able to persist." Xiao Wu walked over and hugged Ning Rongrong's waist. She smiled and tickled her. "But you actually finished running. Big Brother and I were very surprised. By the way, didn't Big Brother Feng come to find you? He said you fell when you were running and that's why you cried. He came to treat you. Does the place where you fell still hurt?" "Did she fall?" Ning Rongrong was stunned. She immediately became angry. "You're the one who kicked me, you bastard. This is the first time I've been so humiliated. You actually said I fell by myself. Damn it. I'm fine." Ning Rongrong forced a smile. She decided to ignore Wang Feng tomorrow. It was too infuriating. "That's good. Let's go take a shower. I fought 2 matches tonight. I'm all sweaty and smelly." Xiao Wu let go of Ning Rongrong's waist. She raised her arm and sniffed. Her expression immediately changed. I'll go too." After Wang Feng returned to the dormitory, he thought about today's battle. It was quite interesting. Although the deification skill couldn't cover a large area, if it only affected a few people, It would be a heaven-defying increase in strength. Zhu Zhuqin couldn't even defeat Tang San in a head-on fight. But after using the deification skill, she was able to continuously defeat the combination of Xiao Wu and Tang San in that kind of disadvantageous terrain. She was able to defeat someone of a higher level than her in a 1v2 plus disadvantageous terrain. The increase in strength was immeasurable, and with the immunity to poison, she was even more powerful. I need a defense-type soul skill now, Wang Feng pondered. If he encountered someone like Zhao Wuji, who had a long-range soul skill that covered a large area, he would be able to deal with them. Reversing heaven and earth would require a defense-type soul skill. In another 2 days, my soul power should reach rank 30, and I won't be able to increase it anymore. I'll need to obtain a soul ring. Once my soul power is completely saturated, I should be able to induce the growth of the green lotus in the third form. Wang Feng murmured. Every form of the green lotus was extremely special and possessed mysterious abilities. However, the further he went, the more soul power he would need to use to make the green lotus develop a new state of mind. The amount of soul power required by the primal chaos green lotus far exceeded Wang Feng's imagination. Sometimes Wang Feng felt rather fortunate. If he hadn't thought of using this method to compress and purify his soul power midway, he wouldn't have been able to do it. It would be difficult to even activate the second form now. Not to mention, when Wang Feng opened his palm, a small axe slowly floated in the center of his palm. Heaven-splitting Pangu axe, a primal chaos supreme treasure, an existence on the same level as the primal chaos green lotus. It has a terrifying attack power that can split heaven and earth. Wang Feng looked at this simple and unadorned small axe. Although it wasn't a physical object and was only a martial soul, it still gave him a shock from the bottom of his heart. I'm afraid my soul power is far from enough to use this martial soul. If I don't compress and purify my soul power, I don't know when I can use it. Wang Feng sighed. Although the items he got every time he checked in were good and extremely heaven-defying, but it was also very difficult to use them. He had to put in a lot of hard work, otherwise, he could only watch helplessly. It was like sitting on a treasure mountain without any mining tools. Although the system gave him a treasure mountain, he still needed to slowly excavate it. It was impossible to reach the heavens in a single step. Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, according to the plot, Zhao Wuji should lead a team into the Great Star Do Forest to obtain a soul ring for Oscar. Wang Feng kept the penguac. The original plot should be like this, and what he needed was a soul ring above 10,000 years. It would be best if it was around 30,000 years. It would be enough for him to enter the depths of the Great Star Do Forest when he reached rank 40 and obtain additional rewards. 30,000 years was a little exaggerated, but with his current physical fitness, it was not impossible. I'll think about it when the time comes. Thinking of this, Wang Feng fell asleep while meditating. The next morning, Wang Feng arrived at the big square early in the morning. At this moment, Ning Rongrong was standing in the same place. "Where's Oscar?" Wang Feng asked curiously. Ning Rongrong and Oscar's daily routine was to run 20 laps around the village. He was monitoring them because he wanted to monitor Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong turned her head and did not say a word. When she saw Wang Feng, she immediately started running. Wang Feng looked at Ning Rongrong's back and a question mark slowly appeared in his mind. Didn't she get better yesterday? Did it act up again today? However, the reality was not as Wang Feng thought. Ning Rongrong gritted her teeth and obediently ran 20 laps. After she finished running, her whole body was steaming hot. 1 lap around the village was not short. It was at least 2 kilometers. 20 laps was close to 40 kilometers. This was almost equivalent to a marathon. She ran for almost 4 hours. Compared to yesterday, she ran intermittently until the evening. Her improvement could be said to be great. After all, her condition was different. "Not bad, your improvement is great." Wang Feng said sincerely. Looking at the power of that kick, it was stronger than Wang Feng imagined. Heh! Ning Rongrong closed her eyes and rested. She did not seem to want to talk to Wang Feng. Still angry? Wang Feng thought. Girls seem to like Cold War the most when they are angry. She doesn't want to talk to you. She wants you to coax her. Coax her? Coax your ass. Wang Feng was not in the mood to coax Miss Ning. He stood in the same place and waited for the other students to arrive. After a while, Ning Rongrong seemed to be unable to bear it. She looked at Wang Feng and finally said, Wang Feng, use your deified soul skill. Wang Feng looked at her and said, Why, are you going to fight with someone? Nope. Ning Rongrong looked around. Hurry up, don't ask so much. If you use it for me, I won't be angry with you for the time being. You don't have to tell me the effect. I won't use it. Wang Feng shook his head. You. Ning Rongrong stomped her foot. I'll tell you. I just want to see myself become more beautiful. Wang Feng's mouth twitched inexplicably. Damn it, are you using my soul skill as a beauty filter? Just how did these girls' brains work? I have such an awesome soul skill, and you want me to use it for you just to make yourself prettier? No problem, listen to me in the future and I will use it for you. Wang Feng nodded expressionlessly. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong's face revealed a smile. Wait, there seems to be something wrong? I, Ning Rongrong, can't talk to this bastard. I'm still angry with him. Why the hell am I laughing? Thinking of this, Ning Rongrong's face fell. She snorted and tilted her head. Wang Feng was dumbfounded again. Chapter 100. However, at this moment, Tang San and the others also arrived at the square one after another. Not long after, Flender also arrived at the square. His sharp gaze swept across the few people. His gaze paused for a moment on Ning Rongrong, who had just finished running and was still steaming. Very good. Flender said with a smile. Oh right, Wang Feng, where's Oscar? I didn't see him this morning, Wang Feng replied. Dean, Oscar seems to have been cultivating. I didn't wake him up, Tang San said quickly. Just as he finished speaking. Suddenly, Oscar walked over from afar, stretching. When he saw Flender, his expression changed and he quickly said, Dean, I didn't want to be lazy. I broke through to rank 30. Just as Oscar finished speaking, everyone was stunned. You're rank 30? Flender's eyes lit up. Good, good, good. You're now the third person in the school to reach rank 30. And you have a rank 30 food-type martial soul. A food-type martial soul was indeed rare in the Douluo continent. A martial soul like Oscar was extremely rare because it was very difficult to cultivate. And it was a food-type martial soul with innate full soul power. Xiao Ao, you're good. Why, what stimulated your potential and made you reach rank 30? Dai Mubai's expression seemed to have recovered a lot today as he said with a smile. Oscar scratched his head and laughed. When the conditions are right, success comes naturally. It's just SOSO. There's nothing worth praising. Everyone just needs to get used to it. Everyone. Wang Feng looked at Oscar a few more times. In the original work, Oscar seemed to have broken through to rank 30 in a sad mood after his crush failed. Unfortunately, it seemed that because of Flender's change, he changed Ning Rongrong in advance. Nothing happened between Oscar and Ning Rongrong. At most, it might be a liking for beautiful girls. But now he knows how to act cool? Could it be that he learned it from me? Wang Feng couldn't help but think deeply. Wang Feng, I remember that your soul power has also reached rank 30, right? Flender looked at Wang Feng. He naturally knew about the crystal ball explosion when he entered the school the day before yesterday. It's almost at rank 30. Wang Feng nodded. Alright, let's have a class today. Tomorrow, I'll get Teacher Zhao to lead the team to the Great Star Do Forest to obtain soul rings. Flender was rather excited. Soul ring. Wang Feng muttered to himself. Could Zhao Wuji kill a 30,000-year soul beast? If the Dean and Zhao Wuji work together, they might be able to do it. If I can activate the Pangu axe and use its power, I might be able to kill a 30,000-year-old soul beast. Wang Fengxin thought to himself. The Pangu axe was a supreme treasure that could split the heavens and earth. Wang Feng was full of expectations for it. As for the soul beasts, Wang Feng didn't think that teacher Zhao and the Dean had to deal with them. When he came to Shrek Academy, he felt that this place was unrestrained, unlike other schools with all kinds of rules and regulations. Freedom. This was probably Wang Feng's favorite part. For today's lesson, Oscar, come out and use all your soul power to make roasted sausages and sausages. Flender said to Oscar, each of them needs at least 3 to 4 sticks. Wow, Dean, don't tell me you want us to eat Uncle Big Sausage's sausage? No. Xiao Wu stretched out her hand and said with a bitter face like a primary school student raising her hand to speak. Everyone's expression changed. Ma Hongjun and Dai Mubai liked it a little and their expressions weren't bad. Tang San, Zhu Zhuqing, and Xiao Wu were relatively worse. Not bad. Flender nodded with a solemn expression. You will definitely be partners in the future. Oscar's roasted sausages can not only fill your stomach, but also give a soul master the ability to recover. This recovery includes healing the body and restoring physical strength. In the future, you will face more dangerous situations without food. This is the only way you can survive. His words made sense. But when Oscar chanted the incantation and made the roasted sausages, the group looked at each other. Let me do it. Wang Feng was the first to walk out. He picked up a few roasted sausages and ate them with relish. Among these people, Wang Feng was probably the only one who didn't mind Oscar's incantation. I'll eat too. The second person to walk out was Ning Rongrong. Almost as soon as Wang Feng finished eating, she walked up and looked at the roasted sausages with a strange look in her eyes. Oscar looked at Ning Rongrong in surprise. This young lady didn't eat at all when they ran yesterday. However, they didn't know that Ning Rongrong had already eaten several sausages. Although they were forced into her mouth at first, she finished them by herself later. She picked up a few roasted sausages and ate them in a few gulps. After eating, she raised her chin and looked at Wang Feng provocatively. Then, Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun also ate the sausages. Then, Tang San pulled Xiao Wu and ate as well. Until Zhu Zhuqing, after Flender's warning, was silent for a moment and ate the sausages too. Okay, this is today's lesson. Go back and prepare for the day and have a good rest. The next morning, gather here. After Flender finished speaking, he left. Everyone chatted as they went to the cafeteria to have lunch. Guys, what are you going to do today? Ma Hongjun was in high spirits after venting last night. He looked refreshed. You slutty fatty, don't tell me you still want to go tonight? The dean said that we need to rest and recover. Xiao Wu rolled her eyes. Ma Hongjun coughed and shook his head. If it wasn't for the evil fire in his body, he really wouldn't want to go. Fatty, since you're not going, you can stay in the dorm tonight. Dai Mubai was silent for a moment before he said in a low voice, I'll go look for the twins tonight. Ma Hongjuan's eyes lit up. Damn, Boss Dai, those twins are the best. I'll go too. Didn't you say you didn't want to go just now? Besides, they don't like you and you want to force them? This kind of thing needs to be consensual. Dai Mubai found it funny. Then, he deliberately glanced at Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing was expressionless. Her face was still cold. Wang Feng clicked his tongue a few times in his heart and looked at Dai Mubai with some envy. This was like a rich second generation picking up a girl. One look and one could tell that he was experienced, and he would never pick inferior products. However, when he thought about Dai Mubai's background, Wang Feng could understand. As a prince of the Star Dou Empire, he could have any woman he wanted. Besides, Dai Mubai wasn't really going to have a relationship with someone. He was just going to have fun. There was no burden. Wang Feng, are you going? At this moment, Dai Mubai asked with a smile. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong suddenly glared at Wang Feng with a fierce look in her eyes. Zhu Zhuqing paused and didn't say anything. Chapter 101. I'm an honest person. Wang Feng coughed. I'm not going. I'll just stay in the academy and cultivate. I'm not strong enough. What a joke. How could he go to such a place? You're not strong enough? Wang Feng, you're going too far. Oscar said exaggeratedly. That's right. Brother Feng, you're going too far. Xiao Wu said angrily. You're not strong enough? Then what's considered strong enough? Everyone looked at Wang Feng with the same expression. Wang Feng touched his hair and sighed. I still have so much hair. This is a sign that I'm not strong enough. You know, a true expert can cultivate until he doesn't have a single strand of hair. After saying that, Wang Feng smiled. Everyone. They didn't understand this joke, but they found it humorous. At this moment, Dai Mubai smiled and said, All right then, I'll take my leave first. Dai Mubai stood up and quickly left the cafeteria. This Tiger Dai wants to lead Brother Feng astray. Xiao Wu looked at Dai Mubai and laughed. Brother Feng's head is filled with soul beasts, right? Back at Nodding Academy, countless girls confessed to Brother Feng, but he didn't like any of them. How could he be such a casual person? Everyone. Wang Feng's face darkened. What do you mean by his head is filled with soul beasts? Don't say something so ambiguous. My head is filled with soul rings. But the last sentence was well said. I, Wang Feng, am not a casual person, oh? Ning Rongrong asked casually. He didn't like any of them? He has high standards. Don't tell me he doesn't like girls? Wang Feng. Of course not. Xiao Wu giggled. Brother Feng likes big girls. He said the girls in the academy are too small. Before she could finish, Tang San quickly stood up and covered Xiao Wu's mouth. It's okay, it's okay. Xiao Wu was just talking nonsense. Tang San broke out in a cold sweat and quickly covered Xiao Wu's mouth when he saw that Wang Feng's face was getting darker and darker. Wang Feng was truly speechless. Because the three of them had a good relationship, Wang Feng had joked about this in the past when they chatted. Sometimes, Wang Feng even jokingly asked Tang San if he liked Xiao Wu. This was no secret. When he was about to graduate from Nodding Academy, there were indeed many girls from the academy who had confessed to him. At that time, Wang Feng's mind was filled with thoughts of cultivating and becoming stronger, so he couldn't be bothered with them. Humph! Ning Rongrong stood up and left with a cold look on her face. After a while, Wang Feng also stood up and said, Take your time. I'm going to cultivate. After saying that, he also left. TSK. Based on my rich experience and love over the years, I feel that Ning Rongrong might like Wang Feng a little. Ma Hongjun suddenly said with a smile. How is this possible? I feel like Rongrong has very high standards, and she's always been at odds with Big Brother Feng. Xiao Wu said in surprise. Yeah, maybe Ning Rongrong herself might not be able to feel it. I'm just feeling it. Ma Hongjun nodded. Xiao Wu tilted her head and felt that it was possible. Everyone finished eating one after another. Why do I feel a little unsettled? Wang Feng, who had returned to the dormitory, suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. Shaking his head, Wang Feng quickly got rid of this feeling. He cultivated in the dormitory for a day, and also learned all kinds of information about the Great Star Do Forest, because it involved the location of the check-in. The depths of the Great Star Do Forest. This was not a simple soul-hunting forest, it was filled with a large number of 10,000-year soul beasts. It was very dangerous, not to mention the depth. Wang Feng knew that only the Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape had appeared in the original work. But there might be other powerful 100,000-year soul beasts, or 10,000-year soul beasts. The next day, everyone was waiting for Zhao Wuji in the plaza. Until they saw Zhao Wuji's bruised and swollen face, they were all stunned. Then, they covered their mouths and laughed. Only Tang San was extremely surprised. Teacher Zhao's injuries should have been healed. Why did he have new injuries now? And his fight with Big Brother Feng was much more serious. How was this possible? Wang Feng saw the curiosity and doubt in Tang San's eyes and thought to himself, of course it was your father who helped you vent your anger. It's amazing to have an awesome father. What are you laughing at? A bunch of little brats. Zhao Wuji was furious when he saw everyone lowering their heads and laughing. Especially when he looked at Wang Feng, Zhao Wuji actually revealed a smile. Laugh, you little rascal. When you come back from the Great Star Do Forest, let's see if you can still laugh. He had already received news that the sword Douluo had set off from the 7 treasure glazed tile sect yesterday and would arrive at Soto City in 2 or 3 days at most. He might arrive tomorrow. At that time Zhao Wuji seemed to have seen Wang Feng's bruised and swollen face, and a smile flashed across his eyes. Why don't you call him little bear cub? Xiao Wu muttered unwillingly. When Wang Feng heard this, he really laughed. This was because he knew that Xiao Wu was a rabbit. All right, everything is ready. Wang Feng, you will lead the team, Zhao Wuji said. Wang Feng was stunned. Wasn't it Dai Mu Bai? Why did it become me? However, after thinking for a while, Wang Feng still walked out and said, the Great Star Do Forest is very dangerous. We will be attacked by soul beasts at any time. Almost all soul beasts are very aggressive towards us humans. We must be careful. How about this? Dai Mubai will be at the front. Oscar, Ning Rongrong, and the rest of you will be behind Dai Mubai. Tang San and Xiao Wu will be on the left and right. Ma Hongjun, you will be in the center. Zhu Zhuqing will follow the team and be in charge of scouting the surroundings. I will be at the back. Does anyone have any objections? Everyone shook their heads. No, your arrangement is very reasonable. Dai Mubai smiled and said, it's good that I'm at the front. Wang Feng, why do I feel that you are more experienced than me? You should fight soul beasts often, right? He didn't want to see Zhu Zhuqing right now. Her strength was second only to Wang Feng, and she was at the front. Zhu Zhuqing was in charge of scouting the surroundings, so she was the furthest away from him. If he and Zhu Zhuqing were to be together, he was afraid that they might end up fighting. No objections. Tang San also nodded secretly. Dai Mubai's strength was second only to Brother Feng. His martial soul was both offensive and defensive. It was best to stand at the front of the team. As a control-type soul master, he was in charge of safety at the flank. Xiao Wu was the same. In the center, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and Ning Rongrong were together. They could prevent flying-type soul beasts from descending from the sky and disrupting the formation. They could directly threaten Oscar and Ning Rongrong, providing another layer of protection for the two of them. Zhu Zhuqing was an agility-type soul master and was extremely fast. She didn't need to be in the formation. She only needed to follow the main group. It was best if there was a certain distance between them. Once there was any movement in the surroundings, she could immediately report it to everyone. As for Brother Feng, who was the strongest, he was naturally at the back. This was because the threat and danger at the back were much greater than the front. With this arrangement, everyone was in the most suitable position for themselves. Once the battle started, everyone's strength would naturally be maximized. Chapter 102. This kid is indeed more experienced than Mu Bai. Zhao Wuji nodded as he watched. There were 8 of them, and he had to be very familiar with them if he wanted to distribute them perfectly. He also had to have a certain level of anticipation for the battle that could happen at any time. This required a lot of experience. Of course, they didn't know how Wang Feng had spent the past 5 years. Battles were now a common occurrence. Ning Rongrong, use your second soul skill on everyone. Increase their speed by 30%. We'll be very far from the Star Do Forest. Wang Feng glanced at Ning Rongrong and continued, we have to reach the outer regions of the Great Star Do Forest before nightfall. Ning Rongrong was stunned. She didn't have any sense of teamwork, and she immediately reacted after hearing Wang Feng's words. Not long after, a beam of light landed on the 9 of them. The distribution was complete. The group quickly set off towards the Star Dough Forest. Along the way, they relied on Oscar's grilled sausages to fill their stomachs, and Ning Rongrong's speed boost to help them reach the small town outside the Great Star Dough Forest in the afternoon. Right now, they were only 100 kilometers away from the Great Star Dough Forest. They were already very close. No one knew. It was also at this moment that a sword light flashed across the Shrek Academy. A figure descended from the sky. Flender! Come out! That figure landed in the academy, and his roar shook the entire place. Flender, who was still in his office, flew out of the window. He looked at the elder in the plaza, and his expression changed slightly. Lord Chun Xian, I didn't expect you to grace us with your presence. What can I do for you? Cut the crap, the old man in a white robe said in a calm tone. That kid called Wang Feng, right? Ask him to come out. Rongrong is in my sect, and I can't even bear to hit her. I didn't expect someone to dare to kick her in the Shrek Academy. You've really turned the world upside down. I won't find trouble with you. Ask that kid to come out. I'll avenge Rongrong. Don't worry, I won't kill him. As he spoke, sword light flickered in the old man's eyes, and an enormous sword chi coiled around his body. This elder was the sword Douluo of the titled sword. His nickname was Sword Dao Chun Xian. Flender thought to himself, sure enough, it's here. After thinking for a while, Flender coughed a few times and said, Your Majesty, it's not that I don't want to hand him over to you. However, all of them had gone to the Great Star Dough Forest. Therefore, there's nothing I can do. The sword Douluo furrowed his brows upon hearing this. Could it be that he hadn't sensed that there was no one in this rundown academy when he first arrived? Turned out that they had gone to the Great Star Dough Forest. What's wrong, Flender? Could it be that you knew I was coming and sent them away in advance? The sword Douluo looked at Flender and said, The Great Star Dough Forest, right? Then I'll go look for them myself. After he finished speaking, the sword Douluo ignored Flender and soared into the sky, flying in the direction of the Great Star Dough Forest. Flender laughed but didn't say anything. Outside a small town in the Great Star Dough Forest. In the hotel lobby. Which academy are you from? Do you know who we are? Hurry up and get out of our way. A group of soul masters around 15 or 16 years old, wearing special school uniforms, looked at Dai Mubai and the others and shouted angrily. On the other hand, Wang Feng's group of 9 had arrived outside this small town and were planning to find a hotel to rest and eat. They didn't expect to meet someone who was looking for trouble. Just a mere Tsanghui Academy? Dai Mubai couldn't help but sneer. You want us to give up our place for you? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself first? In the restaurant, everyone burst into laughter. Wang Feng also laughed. To be honest, the one who was looking for trouble wasn't the Tsanghui Academy. It was Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun. When the two of them saw the people from the Tsanghui Academy, they muttered a few words about trash. When the people from the Tsanghui Academy heard it, they were naturally unhappy. However, the Shrek Academy naturally wouldn't be afraid of causing trouble. Dai Mubai's words instantly enraged the few people from the Tsanghui Academy. They directly walked towards Dai Mubai. 3 soul rings lit up on his body, white, yellow, and yellow. It's indeed a little weak, and there's a white soul ring. Wang Feng shook his head. Beside a group of monsters, he was the biggest monster. At this moment, when he saw the white soul ring, Wang Feng was very surprised. How could there be a white soul ring? Bang bang bang! Dai Mubai had been in a bad mood for the past 2 days. When he saw a few people coming over, his martial soul possessed his body and directly knocked them down. This instantly angered all the people from the Tsanghui Academy, and they all stood out. Hee hee, fighting, I love it the most. You big brothers, I'll play with you. At this moment, Xiao Wu skipped out. She walked to the group of people from the Tsanghui Academy and said, shyly, Okay. Come and play with us. A student was directly charmed by Xiao Wu. However, just as he walked in front of Xiao Wu, he was directly leaped up by Xiao Wu and sent flying with a kick. Play with your big sausage. Xiao Wu rushed towards the few of them. Her figure was strong and her body was extremely tough. She could easily do all kinds of difficult movements. In an instant, she beat them to the ground. In the end, she even tied these people into the shape of a small mountain and spread them on the ground. They couldn't be untied no matter what. You guys are too much. A Tsanghui Academy student walked over and said coldly, You can do whatever you want just because you have a little strength? Are you really not afraid of offending people? Too much? Wang Feng walked out and said with a smile, Come, everyone, take out your martial spirits and show them to him. Tell them that we just want to do whatever we want. Just as Wang Feng finished speaking, Ma Hongjun was the first to jump out, showing his evil fire phoenix and double yellow soul rings. Then Tang San, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, and finally Dai Mubai, all of them showed their soul rings. The 7 people's soul rings lit up the entire restaurant and made the students' face pale. All of them were 100-year soul rings, and there was even a purple soul ring. It was extremely dazzling. Their Tsanghui Academy could be considered an advanced Soul Master Academy. This time, they were here to help a level 30 Soul Master obtain his 3rd soul ring. But they didn't expect that these young boys and girls who were younger than them had such terrifying strength. The one who was around their age was even a soul elder, and he even had a 1,000-year soul ring. Enough. Which academy are you from? At this time, a middle-aged man walked out and looked at Wang Feng's group. He pulled the student behind him and asked with a calm expression, My name is Yi Zhiqiu, the director of the External Affairs Department of the Academy. Dai Mubai sized up the middle-aged man and said indifferently, Shrek Academy. Shrek Academy? I've never heard of it. Yi Zhiqiu frowned. It felt a little unfamiliar. Indeed, an academy with only a few people all year round outside of Soto City, not many people knew about it. Yi Zhiqiu shook his head and sneered. Looking at them, he said indifferently, Since you want to use your power to suppress others, then don't blame me. Black Tortoise possess. Chapter 103. Beast Martial Soul. A huge tortoise slowly emerged from Yi Zhiqiu's body. At the same time, 5 soul rings instantly rose from the soles of his feet. 1 white, 2 yellow, and 2 purple. He was a soul king over level 50. Almost instantly, the light from Yi Zhiqiu's 5 soul rings overshadowed the might of the 7 of them. The 7 of them took a step back and looked at Yi Zhiqiu in surprise. They didn't expect that this Tsanghui Academy would have so many Soul Kings over level 50. Call your teacher out. Yi Zhiqiu said indifferently, You kids, I don't want to fight you. Teacher? Someone like you still wants Teacher Zhao? The few of us can deal with you. Besides, what's a Soul King doing? Fatty Ma sneered a few times. His aura could be weak, but his words couldn't be weak. Alright. Yi Zhiqiu was stunned and couldn't help but laugh. Then I, Yi Zhiqiu, will teach you guys a lesson today. Let's go outside. As he spoke, he led the students of Tsanghui Academy outside. Are we really going to fight? Tang San pondered. A black tortoise martial soul should have outstanding defensive ability. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for us to cause him any harm. However, it's not like we don't have a chance. He was a disciple of a master and was familiar with all kinds of martial souls. Besides, he has a defensive martial soul, so his attack power won't be very strong. His speed is also very slow, similar to how we dealt with Teacher Zhao. Tang San continued, So, the best way is for me, Mu Bai, and Zhu Zhuqing to restrain him, and Xiao Wu to support him. Ma Hongjun will be the main attacker because his evil fire phoenix is fire. The black tortoise is water and fire counter each other. Oscar's sausage, we can wear him down in terms of time. Everyone nodded slightly after listening, feeling that it made sense. What's there to be afraid of? Fatty Ma cursed and walked out. Even if there's no chance, we still have to fight. Our Shrek Academy can't be cowardly. Besides, isn't there still Wang Feng? Only then did everyone remember and look at Wang Feng. Tang San thought to himself, I didn't mention Big Brother Feng because Big Brother Feng is equivalent to the 7 of us working together. If he fights with the 7 of us, we'll definitely win. Ever since Wang Feng finished speaking, he had been sitting on the table and eating the side dishes. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, the peanut that Wang Feng was holding fell out of his hand. Everyone, why are you looking at me? Wang Feng was puzzled. You can fight, but I can analyze it for you. With that said, Wang Feng stood up and said, Tang San is right. It's very difficult for you to hurt him. Furthermore, if I were a black tortoise, speed would be my weakness. If that's the case, I'll choose a soul skill that can restrict you, just like Teacher Zhao's gravity enhancement. Therefore, I'm guessing that this old bastard's soul skill must have a large area of effect control. His black tortoise is of the water attribute. That means it's definitely a control-type soul skill. At the same time, he's slow, so he definitely has long-range soul skills to deal with his enemies. Wang Feng said with a smile, Black tortoise water spray, have you heard of it? Therefore, it must be a soul skill similar to a water column. Hearing this, Fatty Ma smiled lewdly. Not only have I heard of it, but I've also seen it with my own eyes. But it's not a black tortoise. Everyone. Wang Feng coughed a few times and continued, generally speaking, most defense-type martial souls have soul skills that can restrain close combat-type martial souls. He will definitely have a controlling effect similar to cold air around him. Once you get close to him, it will greatly reduce your strength. After everyone heard this, they were silent. Brother Feng, you can even analyze his soul skill? Tang San was a little shocked. Analyze my ass. Wang Feng thought to himself, I read the original book and roughly know Yi Zhiqiu's strength, so I told you in advance. However, I did add a little bit of calculation and analysis. However, everyone didn't know that and was equally shocked. Yi Zhiqiu revealed a black tortoise martial soul just like that? You can even calculate the opponent's soul skill? However, when everyone heard this, they felt that it made a lot of sense. Let's go, don't talk nonsense. If you can't win, I'll make a move, okay? Wang Feng reassured the 7 of them. At this time, Yi Zhiqiu had already formed a formation outside. The 7 of them were also ready. This time, Ning Rongrong didn't need Wang Feng's reminder and gave 2 buffs to the 5 close combat people in advance. After finishing, she raised her chin and looked at Wang Feng as if saying, What did I do? Shouldn't you praise me for my expression? Wang Feng gave her a thumbs up. Ning Rongrong smiled proudly, but turned her head and snorted. She didn't look at Wang Feng, as if she didn't care at all. Wang Feng. At the same time, the 5 of them also fought with Yi Zhiqiu. When the fight started, the 5 of them were incomparably shocked. They saw that the old bastard Yi Zhiqiu was surrounded by an icy mist. As long as they got close, they could instantly feel a chill. Immediately after, a water column came out from Yi Zhiqiu's mouth and directly spat out a black cold current, attacking everyone. Obviously, it was a long-range attack-type soul skill. The more they fought, the more shocked the 5 of them were. This was almost the same as what Wang Feng had said. Because of this, the 5 of them were mentally prepared and didn't suffer any injuries. However, the 5 of them were indeed unable to cause any harm to Yi Zhiqiu. However, the difference in soul skills was too great, and Yi Zhiqiu's defense was too strong. In terms of defense alone, Yi Zhiqiu's black tortoise was not inferior to Zhao Wuji's mighty Vajra bear, and was even stronger. However, its strength was much weaker. After fighting for a while, the 5 of them had different degrees of frostbite all over their bodies. They hurriedly ate Oscar's sausage, and quickly recovered. The few of you, although your cooperation is very good and your strength is very strong, you are still far from it. Yijichu was shocked by the strength of these 5 people, but he said proudly, "I'll give you a chance now, it's not too late to admit your mistake." He was telling the truth. In fact, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage if this dragged on. After all, he was a Soul King over level 50. If he used all his strength, it wouldn't be difficult to suppress a few Soul Masters around level 30. The 5 of them frowned. "Brother Feng, come and help us!" Xiao Wu immediately shouted angrily. Her white and tender hands were frozen stiff. "All right." Wang Feng watched everyone fight and estimated that they should have gained a wave of experience, so he slowly walked out. "With Brother Feng's help, you'll lose for sure," Xiao Wu said fiercely to Yijichu. Yijichu frowned and looked at Wang Feng. Just now, it seemed that this kid didn't reveal his soul ring. He thought that he was the little guy beside him who specialized in carrying luggage and so on. Now listening to the girl's words, it seemed that this kid, "Xiao Wu, I won't help you." Wang Feng walked out and looked at the sky. "I want to end the battle quickly, so I'll do it alone." With that, Wang Feng slowly lit up the soul rings on his body and said with a smile, "Old bastard, let me see if your turtle shell is hard enough." As soon as he finished speaking, 2 soul rings rose from under his feet. Purple and black, the dazzling light made Yijichu and the others from Tsanghui Academy unable to open their eyes. Chapter 104. An 8,000-year soul ring. It was already dark purple with some traces of black, and that true black soul ring was still dazzling even in the night sky. The people of Tsanghui Academy were dumbfounded. "Yi, teacher Yi? That's a 10,000-year soul ring, right?" A Tsanghui Academy student said with a trembling voice. He thought that the 7 people just now were already abnormal enough. It turned out that this kid who had been eating and looking the best was the most powerful? "I'm not blind." Yijichu took a breath of cold air and said indifferently. What was the background of this Shrek Academy? Those 7 kids had all kinds of martial souls, each stronger than the other. Even all of them had 100-year soul rings. This youth in front of him was even more exaggerated. As a teacher of Tsanghui Academy, he had never seen a 1,000-year or even 10,000-year soul ring with his first or second soul ring. "Don't worry." Yijichu narrowed his eyes and looked at Wang Feng. Although the strength of a soul master is linked to the soul ring, he only has 2 soul rings. However, he only had 2 soul rings, and his rank couldn't be higher than rank 30. "Now, you want to fight me alone?" Those students also came back to their senses, and their hearts calmed down a little. They thought, yes, so what if it's a 10,000-year soul ring? He only has 2 after all. At most level 30. At this moment, Wang Feng moved. An afterimage, like a fleeting shadow, scattered. Agility-type soul master? Yijichu suddenly became alert and shouted in a low voice, "Black tortoise protection." Using his soul skill, his whole body seemed to be covered with a thick layer of tortoise shell, like an old tortoise. "Brother Feng, his black tortoise protection's defense is very strong." In the distance, Tang San shouted. Wang Feng didn't care so much. His figure flashed and directly punched towards Yijichu. Bang! The tortoise shell on Yijichu's body shook violently, and a burst of cold air was scattered in all directions. Yijichu's face changed slightly, his pupils shrank slightly, and he felt the tortoise shell outside his body go numb. What a strong power! This kid's punch was several times stronger than the attacks of those people just now. Mystic Ice Seal. Yijichu looked at the fist on the tortoise shell. Her body suddenly shook, and an extremely cold aura spread from Wang Feng's fist to his entire arm. Wang Feng retracted his fist and looked at the icy mist on his arm, which had instantly turned into ice. "Brat!" My defense is the strongest, do you know that? You want to punch me? This was unrealistic. Right now, your right arm is already frozen, Yi Zhiqiu said with a smile. Wang Feng did not speak. His arm shook slightly, and the ice cubes from top to bottom turned into ice chips. Yi Zhiqiu. What an old tortoise. Wang Feng gently blew off the ice on his arm. If you want me to freeze you, I'm afraid it's not enough. How strong was his physical fitness now? He was even stronger than a rank 50 soul warrior with a beast martial soul. This freezing ability was too weak. Do you believe that I can knock you down with one punch? Wang Feng said all of a sudden. When everyone heard this, they were instantly stunned. Yi Zhiqiu was not the only one who was stunned. In fact, even Dai Mubai and the others were stunned. This guy likes to brag. Ning Rongrong snorted softly. This big tortoise's defense is only inferior to Teacher Zhao's in soul power. How can you knock him down with one punch? Although she said that, Ning Rongrong still quickly used the 7 treasures glazed pagoda to increase Wang Feng's strength. The others were also silent. Wang Feng can't be so abnormal, right? He was a soul king at least at the 50th rank, and his strongest point is his defense. Ma Hongjun was also a little surprised. What was the concept of one punch? Even a soul king of the same rank could not knock this old tortoise down with one punch, right? Tang San also frowned and felt a little confused. How could this punch defeat him? If Brother Feng used the strength he used to defeat Teacher Zhao, he might be able to defeat this soul king hiding in his shell. But this punch, even Tang San felt a little puzzled. Brother Feng, I believe in you mentally, Xiao Wu said with a smile. Could it be that Wang Feng still has some special moves? Dai Mubai asked curiously. No matter how special his moves are, it's impossible to overcome such a big gap in soul power unless… Tang San shook his head. Suddenly, Tang San was stunned. Unless what? Oscar's heart was itching. Tang San recalled the master's words and whispered, unless it's a martial soul restraint. And it's a natural restraint. Just like Ma Hongjuan's evil phoenix, it's a natural counter to my blue-silver grass. No matter how tough my blue-silver grass is, it can't wrap around Fatty. It's only possible if my soul power is much higher than Fatty's. Ma Hongjun nodded. That was the truth. But he's an old tortoise. This old tortoise has a beast martial soul. How can it be restrained? Oscar pinched his chin and stroked his newly grown beard. Tang San seemed to understand something and his eyes suddenly lit up. Lightning! Almost at the same time, Zhu Zhuqing's voice rang out. They were all stunned. At this time, Yi Zhiqiu couldn't help but laugh. Boy, if you can knock me down with one punch, I'll eat the tree next to me. Just as he finished speaking, the golden lotus in Wang Feng's hand unfolded. Divine possession. An awe-inspiring divine power descended, making Wang Feng's body shine with golden light. The next moment, Wang Feng's body was like lightning. He rushed in front of Yi Zhiqiu and lightly punched. The lightning and thunder that were originally attached to the fist, almost in the instant it touched Yi Zhiqiu's tortoise shell that was covered in bursts of ice mist. It spread to Yi Zhiqiu's entire body. Sizzling sounds came from Yi Zhiqiu's body. No matter how hard his tortoise shell was, it couldn't stop the lightning from spreading through his entire body. Black tortoises are of the water attribute. Yi Zhiqiu's entire body is covered in a layer of mist. Brother Feng gathered all the lightning energy in his body into his fist. His punch almost didn't use any strength and went through his tortoise shell. It directly paralyzed his entire body. Tang San said excitedly, "This has nothing to do with defense. If he didn't have the black tortoise martial spirit but another defensive martial spirit, Brother Feng's punch wouldn't be able to achieve this effect. But he has the black tortoise martial spirit." Tang San didn't know the principle of this penetration. Simply put, water can conduct electricity. Anyone in the modern world could think of this. This was the fundamental reason why Wang Feng could knock Yi Zhiqiu down with one punch. Wang Feng didn't even use any strength. The paralysis effect of the divine soul skill could be maximized with one punch on Yi Zhiqiu's body. It could even penetrate the tortoise shell covering Yi Zhiqiu's entire body. After Yi Zhiqiu was lightly pressed by Wang Feng's punch, he directly lay on the ground, his entire body trembling crazily. It was as if he had an epilepsy. In just a moment, he directly fell to the ground. His entire body flashed with golden lightning from time to time. Boy, you! Yi Zhiqiu looked at Wang Feng, his entire body so numb that he couldn't say a word. Chapter 105. When the Tsanghui students saw this, they were all stunned. This was a Soul King over level 50. He was really knocked down with a single punch. Looks like your turtle shell isn't hard enough. Wang Feng burst out laughing. Men, chop down the tree nearby and let this old tortoise enjoy himself. Hee, Wang Feng, I'm already here. At this moment, Ma Hongjun walked over with the small tree in his arms with a smile on his face. It was only a small tree that was a few meters tall, not very tall. Everyone held back their laughter as they watched Ma Hongjun throw the small tree in front of Yi Zhiqiu. At this moment, a tall figure walked out from inside. It was Zhao Wuji. He was also holding back a smile on his face. Obviously, he was secretly observing this scene. Otherwise, how could he, a soul sage over level 70, not notice the battle and quarrel in front of him? He just wanted to see how these little brats would deal with this matter. Sure enough, they didn't disappoint him. Go back to sleep. Zhao Wuji didn't even look at the Tsanghui Academy, as if nothing had happened. At this moment, Yi Zhiqiu stood up shakily and said coldly, "Wait, your Shrek Academy has insulted our Tsanghui Academy, shouldn't you give us an explanation?" Although that punch had knocked him down, he didn't actually suffer any injuries. It was just that his entire body was paralyzed and it wouldn't last long. After all, he was a Soul King over level 50 and his recovery ability was astonishing. Explanation? Zhao Wuji smiled. Just these trash from your Tsanghui Academy? You want me to give you an explanation? Sure, if you can eat this tree, I'll give you an explanation. Eat it? Zhao Wuji pointed at the tree under Yi Zhiqiu's feet. The 7 people behind him immediately laughed again. This Yi Zhiqiu was really slapped in the face. Let's go. Yi Zhiqiu sized up Zhao Wuji, his face slightly pale. That little brat's punch just now was too strange. His current strength had only recovered a little. These little monsters were so strong, their teacher probably wouldn't be much weaker than him. In addition, he still had to hunt soul beasts tomorrow, so there was no need to tangle with them anymore. Yi Zhiqiu was not stupid. After analyzing the gains and losses, he could only swallow his anger and command the Tsanghui students to leave. Zhao Wuji's hands itched when he saw this. He thought to himself, this old turtle is leaving just like that. I still want to have a taste of it. Turning around, Zhao Wuji looked at everyone and laughed. How useless. 7 against 1, and we still can't beat him. If you can't win, why don't you use your brain a little? Look at Wang Feng, he didn't even use any strength in his punch just now, and he really knocked that old turtle down. Just now, Zhao Wuji also did not expect that Wang Feng, this brat, could really knock down this old turtle with one punch. According to his estimations, even if Wang Feng were to go all out, he would still have to expend quite a bit of effort to defeat the old turtle. He didn't expect it to be so simple. Weren't you also defeated by Brother Feng before? Xiao Wu muttered at this moment. Zhao Wuji's face darkened. I'm a rank 76 soul sage. Do you think I don't care about my reputation? How dare you compare me to this old tortoise? Everyone stifled their laughter. You little brat, how dare you make fun of me? Zhao Wuji glared at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu. Zhao Wuji lowered his voice. Alright, you guys did well just now. Ning Rongrong, it seems like you've really changed. You already have a sense of teamwork. You don't need us to remind you, and you can already take the initiative to help your teammate. Flender said that you've changed, but I didn't believe him. Not bad, not bad. Remember, if you guys encounter such things in the future, you can't back down. You guys are a team. If you guys really work together, it won't be difficult to defeat a powerful soul master. Ning Rongrong was put on an extra show, but she didn't feel anything. She wasn't as happy as when Wang Feng gave her a thumbs up. Go and rest. Zhao Wuji waved his hand, and everyone returned to the hotel to rest. The next day, at dawn, Zhao Wuji woke the 8 of them up and walked towards the Great Star Do Forest 50 kilometers away. Not long after, the group stepped into the Great Star Do Forest. As the border between 2 empires, and also one of the 3 great soul beast habitats, the Great Star Do Forest was the place that countless soul masters hoped to visit the most, but it was also the most dangerous place. Compared to the soul hunting forest, it was countless times more dangerous. When Wang Feng stepped into the Great Star Do Forest, he truly felt that this forest wasn't ordinary. The pure natural air and the ancient trees that towered into the clouds made it seem as if they had truly entered a primeval forest. As far as the eye could see, there was a vast green ocean. Looking at it from afar made one feel relaxed and happy. After getting closer, one would realize that the shadows of the trees overlapped, and a faint fog lingered around it. It was difficult to see what was inside. Even though it was just the outer forest, it gave off a dangerous feeling. However, the air inside did indeed give people a very comfortable feeling. Wang Feng knew that this was the difference between the density of the energy of heaven and earth. Let's pause for a moment. Let me say this before we enter. The soul beasts inside are extremely dangerous. You guys can face the attack of 1,000-year or even 10,000-year soul beasts at any time. Zhao Wuji said with a serious expression, remember, when you guys maintain your formation, don't stray too far from me. Also, I won't attack soul beasts under 1,000 years. For those above 1,000 years, I'll act according to the situation. Also, if you don't need a soul beast, remember not to take the initiative to attack soul beasts. Because in this place, if you aren't careful and attack a slightly weaker soul beast, you might be hunted down by a group of soul beasts. Do you understand? Everyone naturally understood this principle. Let's go. The 9 of them walked into the Great Star Do Forest. Wang Feng, Tang San, and Xiao Wu, who had never been to the Great Star Do Forest before, were very curious about this forest. So many new soul beasts. Wang Feng closed his eyes and sniffed slightly. He could smell the aura of soul beasts from afar. Unknowingly, Wang Feng thought of those 3 little fellows again. That big green bird had indeed become a soul beast. However, every year when he returned to the Holy Soul Village, he would always see that big green bird suffering all kinds of injuries. Until a year ago, when Wang Feng returned, he didn't see that big green bird again. He didn't know where it had flown to. Now that he thought about it, he still missed it a little. Other than that, there were the 2 little fellows in the soul hunting forest. A star moon fox and an Icea emperor lizard. Over the past 5 years, Wang Feng often went in to look after these 2 little fellows. Especially the Icea emperor lizard. Wang Feng slowly watched these 2 fellows grow up. 2 years ago, Wang Feng used a makeup technique to turn these 2,000-year soul beasts into 2 trash soul beasts that weren't even 100 years old. After making them hide their auras, he gave a few hundred gold soul coins to the guards in the soul hunting forest and secretly smuggled them out. After all, the soul hunting forest was too dangerous. Wang Feng went into the soul hunting forest several times and found these 2 soul beasts covered in wounds and on the verge of death. Clearly, they were being hunted down by mid-tier and high-tier soul masters. Every time, Wang Feng healed them until they were full of vitality and were very clingy. Chapter 106. However, it was still too dangerous. If Wang Feng hadn't sensed it that time, the two soul beasts might have died. Hence, they could only use this method to transport the two soul beasts back to the Holy Soul Village as the big green bird's companions. However, they didn't expect that after the big green bird disappeared, these two fellows also disappeared. Where did these three fellows run off to? Did they come to the great star Douluo forest? Wang Fengxin thought to himself, it's a pity that the great star Douluo forest is too big. Even if they really came, I wouldn't be able to find them. However, it should be much safer here than in the soul-hunting forest. The group gradually moved forward. Along the way, they encountered a few groups of soul beasts, but they avoided them. Other than that, they also encountered a few hundred-year soul beasts that attacked them, but they were quickly dealt with. Wang Feng didn't even make a move. Even if they encountered a 1,000-year soul beast, Dai Mubai and the rest could quickly kill it with their strength. However, this wasn't what Oscar needed. Xiao Wu is listless. She must be worried that her brothers will come looking for her after killing so many soul beasts. Wang Feng looked at Xiao Wu and thought to himself. Of course, he knew what they would face in the great star Douluo forest. The Titan giant ape, one of the overlords of the great star Douluo forest. My third form, Wang Feng took a deep breath and muttered, maybe it can be of some use. Last night, his soul power was completely saturated, and he activated his third form. It seemed to be what he needed. At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly looked in a direction. He smelled the aura of soul beasts. In terms of soul beast sensitivity, even Zhao Wuji might not be able to compare to him. Wang Feng was too familiar with all kinds of soul beasts. Although the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake was rare, Wang Feng had seen it in a high-level soul-hunting forest. Although it wasn't very aggressive, he remembered its aura very clearly. In the next moment, Zhao Wuji and Tang San also looked in that direction. However, when the two of them looked, Wang Feng spoke first. Zhu Zhuqing, go ahead and see if there are soul beasts? Hearing this, everyone was astonished. Zhao Wuji and Tang San also looked at Wang Feng in amazement. Wang Feng, how did you sense it? Zhao Wuji looked at Wang Feng in surprise. I'm very sensitive to the aura of soul beasts. Wang Feng laughed. This has nothing to do with strength. I'm just very sensitive to auras. I've fought with soul beasts many times. Many times, he had said it lightly. However, when Zhao Wuji heard this, he found it a bit strange. You're a 12-year-old soul grandmaster, yet you've fought with soul beasts many times? On the other hand, Tang San believed it because Big Bro Feng had helped him kill the phantom totem back then. His attack was extremely decisive, and it could be said that he had killed with a single strike. His understanding of soul beasts was much deeper than Tang Wulin, who only knew theoretical knowledge. Master had once said that any theoretical knowledge could not compare to the experience gained from actual combat. It was more accurate. Even now, Tang San could still remember that scene. Therefore, Tang San didn't doubt that Brother Feng knew more about soul beasts than he did. Soon, Zhu Zhuqing's cold voice came from the branch. It's a flying snake. It flies about 3 meters high and has a fleshy crest on its head. It looks bigger than its head, and its tail is a coxcomb. Zhu Zhuqing had just finished speaking. Tang San and Zhao Wuji almost said in unison, "It's a phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake." Zhao Wuji glanced at Tang San and his eyes lit up. This snake is very rare. The fleshy crest on its head has many uses. Oscar, you're in luck. However, I wonder how old this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake is? At this time, Tang San asked Zhu Zhuqing, how long is this snake? What's the color of its wings? Zhu Zhuqing said, its wings are light red and about 7 meters long. After hearing this, Tang San calculated and said with a smile, this snake is definitely 1,000 years old. This is definitely a 1,000-year-old phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. Its light red wings are a sign of evolution. It's about 7 meters long, so it should be between 1,300 and 1,700 years old. This snake is just right for Oscar. Moreover, this snake is not poisonous and its attack method is very simple. It likes to use its body to wrap around the enemy. However, its speed is strange. Its fleshy crest stores all kinds of nutrient. In times of crisis, these medicinal nutrients will provide a special acceleration effect. If you obtain this snake's soul ring, Oscar, your next soul skill should be related to speed. For you, it should be the most suitable for your current stage. Hearing this, everyone was slightly stunned. They didn't expect Tang San to be so clear. Little San, your master must be very powerful, Oscar said sincerely. He's the encyclopedia of martial spirit world. Zhao Wuji secretly thought that this little hedgehog could become the master's disciple for a certain reason. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Tang San didn't feel proud. He suddenly looked at Brother Feng and asked, "Brother Feng, do you have anything to add?" Tang San knew that Brother Feng was very knowledgeable about soul beasts and was afraid that he missed something. Wang Feng shook his head and said, "Little San, you're right, but I have a question. Zhu Zhuqing, when you observed the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake, did you see that it was injured?" Zhu Zhuqing, who was on the tree branch, was stunned and shook her head. Wang Feng said, "Your observation was a little careless. Pay attention next time. Remember, the next time you look at a soul beast, you must see if it is injured. If it is injured, it means that it might have been hunted by someone and is running away. It might also be injured in a fight with other soul beasts. These can be judged based on the wound. For us, we must be prepared in advance. If it is not injured, then it is naturally the best. It is an ownerless soul beast." Zhu Zhuqing felt that it was very reasonable and couldn't help but nod. Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect there to be such a saying. "Kid, you're a little cautious." Zhao Wuji couldn't help but say, "I'm starting to believe that you have hunted many soul beasts." If what Tang San said just now was just pure knowledge, what Wang Feng was talking about was real experience. One needed to go through many battles to have such experience. Obviously, Wang Feng had encountered such a situation. In the past 5 years, Wang Feng had encountered many such situations. In fact, this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake was indeed injured. Wang Feng also knew about it. "Wang Feng, how do you think we should capture this kind of soul beast?" Zhao Wuji asked. "How?" Wang Feng smiled and said, "We are too strong, so we don't need to use any methods. Teacher Zhao, just light up your 7 soul rings and wait for it to come over. Then, use your soul skill combo, which is the move you used to hit me. In other words, directly crush it. This is the safest and most effective method." Zhao Wuji was a rank 76 soul sage, and he was dealing with a 1,000-year-old snake. As long as the snake entered his attack range, he could use a series of soul skills to finish it off. He just had to conserve a little of his strength so that he wouldn't kill it. There was no need for any methods at all. Chapter 107. Zhao Wuji felt that his question was a little stupid. Tang San also nodded. With Mr. Zhao around, it was most convenient to crush the snake directly. Any other method had the possibility of failure. Of course, there is another method that is more convenient than Mr. Zhao waiting for the snake to come and crush it. Wang Feng continued to say with a smile. Everyone was stunned. There was another way? More convenient than Mr. Zhao? Zhao Wuji was about to ask when at this moment, Zhu Zhuqing, who was on the tree branch, suddenly shouted in a low voice, "It's coming!" As soon as she finished speaking, Zhu Zhuqing immediately pounced. Obviously, she wanted to restrain the snake. The group did not expect the snake to come so quickly. The phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake was indeed about 7 meters long. It looked even scarier than the giant python that Wang Feng had seen in his previous life. The fleshy crest on its head was ugly and ferocious. Zhu Zhuqing swooped down from midair and directly used nether stab on the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake's fleshy crest. However, the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake's reaction was extremely fast. The snake tilted its head and dodged the attack. Zhu Zhuqing's nether stab hit the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake's body and made a muffled sound. The snake's momentum was reduced a little. In an instant, the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake was enraged. The fleshy crest on its head suddenly lit up as if it was increasing its speed. The snake turned its tail and wanted to coil around Zhu Zhuqing. The tilted head also spat out a colorful fog at Zhu Zhuqing. Although it was not poisonous, it could harass Zhu Zhuqing and prevent her from reacting. Almost instantly. Be careful! In the distance, Dai Mubai, Zhao Wuji, and the others were startled and yelled at the same time. Only one person did not speak. Almost instantly, everyone only saw a flash of light. Among the 9 people, the fastest one was not Zhu Zhuqing, but Wang Feng. Wang Feng did not speak. Instead, he chose to attack. His speed was so fast that everyone could only see a shadow. It was so fast that even Ning Rongrong didn't have time to react and cast a buff on Wang Feng. Wang Feng approached the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. With a light leap, he threw a punch at the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake's open mouth. Rumble! This punch directly smashed the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake's mouth and half its head into smithereens. Before its huge body could wrap around Zhu Zhuqing, it suddenly fell to the ground. Zhu Zhuqing also took this opportunity to catch her breath. She changed her position in the air and landed steadily on the ground. She looked at the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake with some lingering fear. At the same time, Wang Feng stepped on the 7 inches of the snake that was still alive, making it difficult for it to escape. Then, he grinned at everyone. There's another way, which is for me to attack at lightning speed and kill it with a single punch. Everyone, this is truly the safest method. Zhao Wuji was silent for a moment. He could not help but admit that Wang Feng was the fastest among the 9. Even he couldn't compare to him at all. Judging from the speed of his attack this time, it was obvious that he was extraordinary. Big Brother Feng's punch was just right, Tang San said with a smile. This snake's weakness is its mouth. When it spat out the 7-colored fog just now, it was the best time to defeat it. Big Brother Feng's speed is too fast. His timing is perfect. Otherwise, we would have startled this beast, and it might have escaped easily. Everyone understood and quickly walked over. Only Dai Mubai had a complicated expression. He wanted to attack just now. However, before he could react, Wang Feng had already killed it with a punch. Wang Feng did not even try to save Zhu Zhuqing. Instead, he chose to defeat the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake directly. TSK. Too miserable. Ma Hongjun looked at the snake and could not help but shake his head. Wang Feng's control of his punch is very good. Zhao Wuji walked over and looked at the snake. The snake's crown is still there, which means there are no flaws. Oscar, quickly come and kill it. Why are you still in a daze? At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly walked over, flipped over the snake's body and whispered, she said softly, Wang Feng was right. I did not observe carefully enough. The snake's abdomen is injured. Looking at the situation, it seems to be man-made. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. If that was the case, it meant that this snake had a master who had killed it. After a moment of silence, Zhao Wuji waved his hand and said, What are you afraid of? This snake's strength did not decrease by much. It was defeated by Wang Feng in one move. Even if someone comes to cause trouble, there's no need to be afraid. Oscar, quickly kill it and absorb its soul ring. Who was Zhao Wuji? He was not afraid of anything. He just needed to absorb the soul ring. Oscar nodded, picked up his dagger, and was about to stab down. At this moment, a hoarse and cold voice suddenly sounded. Stop! 2 figures quickly rushed out from the front. These 2 people were old and young, and they were both women. The old one looked to be in her 60s or 70s. She had a head full of white hair. Although she was old, she was very energetic. Her eyes were shining as she looked at the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. She had a snake-headed walking stick in her hand, and 6 soul rings on her body were rhythmically moving. Obviously, the snake-headed walking stick was her martial soul, which emitted a faint green light. As for the one from before the new year, she was a beautiful young girl. She had short hair that reached her ears and looked to be around 16 years old. She wore tight clothes that tightly wrapped around her extremely well-developed figure. Her bright brown eyes were currently sizing up the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. She also had a snake-headed walking stick in her hand, but it was shorter. 200-year soul rings lit up on her body. Wang Feng also looked at these 2 people and thought to himself, they should be Meng Yiran and Snake Granny Chao Tianxiang. Honestly speaking, their combination and dressing reminded Wang Feng of the Golden Flower Granny and Zhu'er in the Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber. They were both peerless experts, and there was also a little beauty beside them. When the 2 of them appeared, everyone who was mentally prepared heaved a sigh of relief. After all, Teacher Zhao had 7 soul rings. Zhao Wuji looked at the 2 of them and said with a smile, "The 2 of you should be the masters who killed this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake, right?" Snake Granny and Meng Yiran were stunned. Snake Granny reacted and hurriedly said, "It is indeed me and my granddaughter. We have been hunting this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake for a long time, but it escaped. Now, my granddaughter is at rank 30 and needs to break through. Moreover, this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake is very suitable for my granddaughter. Can this Soul Sage Senior make it convenient and let my granddaughter have it?" "Right, my name is Chao Tianxiang. I am indebted to a friend in the Soul Master world who thought highly of me and gave me the title of Snake Granny. My husband is Meng Shu, known as Duke Long." After saying that, she looked at Zhao Wuji. Hearing this, Zhao Wuji's expression changed, but he laughed loudly and said, "So it is unparalleled dragon snake. I have also heard of your husband's name. My name is Zhao Wuji. This snake was defeated by my student. I also have a student who needs this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake as a soul ring to break through. Sorry, I can't let you have it." Hearing this, Snake Granny and Meng Yiran were stunned. Chapter 108. So it's the famous immovable wisdom king, Zhao Wuji. Wait, what did you say? This snake was defeated by this student of yours? Snake Granny was still surprised by Zhao Wuji's identity, but she was stunned by the next sentence. Liar! The young girl, Meng Yiran, glanced at Wang Feng who was stepping on the snake and frowned. This is a 1,500-year-old phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. He's even younger than me, how could he defeat it? Do you have a rank 30 soul master among you? Snake Granny also frowned as she looked at the 7 people behind Zhao Wuji. Brother Zhao, these disciples of yours are all 12 or 13 years old. Are they that powerful? I don't really believe it. Could a normal 12 or 13-year-old reach rank 30? Even those with outstanding talent were very few. Her granddaughter's talent was considered pretty good. She wasn't even 16 years old and was only at rank 30. Hearing this, Wang Feng smiled, and so did Zhao Wuji. All right, we need to let Senior Snake Granny experience it. Children, come, show your martial souls to this Snake Granny. A smile appeared on Zhao Wuji's face. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone who couldn't bear it any longer immediately lit up their soul rings. Because Wang Feng was stepping on the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake, he could only watch from the side. More than 10 soul rings shone on Snake Granny and Meng Yiran, causing their eyes to blur. This is the student who has already reached rank 30. Zhao Wuji pointed at Oscar. Snake Granny, do you believe me now? Snake Granny's expression was somewhat unsightly. The aptitudes of these children were too good, right? Granny, are we going to give up just like that? Meng Yiran said stubbornly. Snake Granny calmed herself down and said in a deep voice, Brother Zhao, how about this? We don't want to let go of this phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. But I don't want to become enemies with you. How about we let the two children decide? I'm sure you know the rules of the Soul Master world? Whoever wins will get this phoenix tail coxcomb snake. There was such a rule in the Soul Master world. If both sides valued the soul beast and both contributed, then they would fight to determine the victor. From there, they would obtain the soul ring. Zhao Wuji smiled and said, Snake Granny, my disciple is a food-type soul master. He can't fight. The snake woman was stunned. A food-type soul master? Rank 30? Snake Lady couldn't help but look at Oscar a few more times. She even had the urge to poach him over at this moment. In that case, why don't I replace Oscar? I'm a rank 29 soul master. Teacher? Tang San asked from the side. According to Tang San's observation, this girl's strength was not stronger than his. Coupled with the fact that he had hidden weapons, there wouldn't be any problems. His chances of winning were very high. All right. Snake Granny nodded. However, right at this moment, Meng Yiran said crisply, No. I don't want to fight you. You're only level 29, I don't want to bully you. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Meng Yiran pointed at Wang Feng, who was watching the show from the sidelines. I want to fight him. Didn't you say that he killed the snake? I, Meng Yi, still do not believe it. If he can beat me, I'll believe it. You can have this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. After that. He looked at Wang Feng proudly. Wang Feng was speechless. Are you kidding me? I didn't even say a word. You want to fight me? Wang Feng knew the plot and knew that Tang San wanted to fight with Meng Yiran. He even used the blue-silver grass to wrap around Meng Yiran, making her body tattered. He was planning to take a look and enjoy his eyes. After all, this Meng Yiran was indeed quite beautiful, although she couldn't compare to Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, and Ning Rongrong. But she was still a first-class beauty. Also big. Although Wang Feng wasn't interested in her, because he knew the plot, he wanted to give his eyes some benefits, lest his brain kept protesting. So when the two came out, Wang Feng had been watching the show in silence. Unexpectedly, she actually chose him to fight? However, Tang San and the others looked at Meng Yiran with a strange face. They all secretly said in their hearts, You can choose anyone, but you chose this monster? Aren't you courting death? Cough, cough, girl, why don't you think about it? Wang Feng pointed at Tang San and whispered, I didn't kill this snake, he killed it. I'm just responsible for restraining this snake. Wang Feng really didn't want to fight with Meng Yiran. He was still waiting to see. Moreover, this Meng Yiran made him really not interested in fighting. Tang San was a bit puzzled. Could it be that Brother Feng doesn't want to fight with this girl? Or is he a person who cares about the fairer sex? That was impossible. Of course, he didn't know Wang Feng's thoughts. This brat, is he afraid of this snake woman? Afraid of hurting Meng Yiran? Zhao Wuji couldn't help but laugh, then shook his head. Impossible. He even dared to kick Ning Rongrong. How could he be afraid? What is he planning to do? Everyone was puzzled. But the girl, Meng Yiran, couldn't help but laugh. She looked at Wang Feng and felt that this young man was indeed very handsome. She couldn't help but smile and said, I will fight with you. Don't worry, little brother, I will be gentle. Is that okay? Wang Feng sighed. Damn, I originally wanted to give my eyes some benefit. Looks like I won't have the chance. Cough cough, Wang Feng go. Zhao Wuji gave Wang Feng a look and said in a low voice, Be gentle. When Snake Granny heard this, she couldn't help but look at Wang Feng suspiciously. She thought to herself, just now, this brat didn't reveal his soul ring and just stood there silently. It seems that other than his appearance, he isn't outstanding among these people. Could it be that this kid is the most powerful among Zhao Wuji's students? But thinking about it, Snake Woman shook her head. Impossible. Although Zhao Wuji was arrogant, he didn't dare to act recklessly. Even if this kid didn't cultivate a soul ring, his soul power level wouldn't exceed Iran's by too much. He still had a 30-rank soul power advantage. There was no reason for him to lose. Wang Feng walked over listlessly. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng picked up a few leaves on the ground. Little brother, you are quite interesting. Why are you picking up leaves? Meng Yiran asked curiously. Could it be that your martial soul is leaf? Wang Feng shook his head and looked at Meng Yiran without saying anything. At this time, the two sides began to fight. My name is Meng Yiran. My martial soul is the snake staff. I am a level 32 ring battle soul master. The girl said indifferently. Wang Feng was close and could see Meng Yiran's appearance and figure more clearly. He couldn't help but shake his head in disappointment. He said, I am Wang Feng. My martial soul is the Green Lotus. I am a level 32 ring auxiliary type tool soul master. After speaking, Wang Feng slowly lit up his soul ring. In an instant, Snake Woman was stunned. Meng Yiran was also stunned. A 10,000-year soul ring? A level 30 10,000-year soul ring? Snake Woman muttered, how is this possible? In other words, he obtained a 10,000-year soul ring at rank 20? He is only 12 years old, right? This kid was really the most powerful among Zhao Wuji's students. Meng Yiran was also stunned. She never thought that she would actually see such a terrifying soul ring. Wait, you are an auxiliary-type soul master? Meng Yiran was startled. Suddenly, she thought of something and her pale face finally revealed a smile. Since that's the case, then don't blame me for being impolite. However, just as she finished speaking, shio shio shio, a few air-piercing sounds suddenly came. Directly on Meng Yiran's face, shoulders, thighs and everywhere, a faint trace of blood hung and cut her clothes. Thump! Before everyone could see clearly, the big tree behind Meng Yiran trembled violently, as if it was hit by something. Only when the air-piercing sounds stopped did everyone look over with this look. Except for Tang San, everyone was stunned. Those were actually a few leaves. You lost. Wang Feng clapped his hands, turned around and walked back. Chapter 109. Silence. Incomparable silence. Other than the snake that was still trembling and making the sound of rubbing against the branches and leaves on the ground. There was no more sound. Everyone was stunned as they looked at this scene. After a while, until Wang Feng turned around and walked a few steps, Meng Yiran seemed to have woken up. Looking at Wang Feng's back, she touched the faint blood stain on her face and said angrily, Bastard! You! With that, the snake staff in Meng Yiran's hand emitted a terrifying light as she rushed towards Wang Feng. However, she was stopped by the snake lady. Yiran, that's enough. The snake lady stopped Meng Yiran and said in a deep voice. Grandma, why are you stopping me? Meng Yiran said angrily, Can't you see that my face is disfigured? I won't forgive him. As a girl, it didn't matter if her thigh or shoulder was scratched. But if her face was scratched? How could she tolerate that? Even if it was just a hair-thin cut, she still couldn't tolerate it. Yiran. The snake lady stared at the trembling tree trunk behind Meng Yiran. She still stopped Meng Yiran and didn't let her go forward. She turned to look at Wang Feng and her eyes flashed with a cold light. We still lost. You can have this snake. Thank you for showing mercy, little brother. Hearing that, Meng Yiran was stunned at first, then she said angrily, Grandma, how did I lose? I only suffered a little injury. It's not a problem. I haven't admitted defeat. But the snake lady pointed at the few leaves behind her that were as sharp as blades that were embedded in the tree trunk and said in a low voice, Enough, Yiran, think about it. If those leaves just now cut your throat, would you still be able to speak now? In an instant, Meng Yiran's face stiffened and turned pale. Just now when anger rushed into her brain, she didn't have the mood to think about it. But now that she thought about it, although those leaves did hurt her, it was obviously controlled very well and wasn't fatal. She knew a similar technique herself, but she couldn't control it to such a precise degree. The wound caused to her was only a small cut. It was very shallow and not deep. If it was thrown randomly, it wouldn't be able to cause such an effect. But since he could control it so well, it would be difficult for him to stand up and talk if he wanted to make the wound bigger or stab at a vital part of his body. Therefore, the other party had held back. Ahem, Oscar, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and take out a sausage. Wang Feng walked over and looked at the stunned crowd. He gave Oscar a look and said in a low voice, "Give it to her. The wound I left isn't deep. One of your sausages should be enough to heal her." Hearing this, Oscar suddenly came to his senses. He hurriedly took the grilled sausages that he had prepared in advance and walked in front of the snake woman. He glanced at Mengiran and said, "Senior Snake Granny, my grilled sausage has a healing effect. After eating it, your granddaughter's minor injuries should recover quickly, and there won't be any scars left." After all, the wound was indeed very shallow. Even if he didn't roast the intestines, after applying the medicine, the scars that would be left behind would automatically disappear along with the body's growth. Fortunately, Oscar didn't chant the incantation. The grilled sausages were prepared in advance. The snake woman and Mengiran had never heard of Oscar's incantation and directly took the grilled sausages. Mengiran was even more flustered and directly ate it, afraid that her appearance would be damaged. She didn't suspect that the grilled sausages were poisonous because her mother-in-law was an expert in using poisons. Her body also had a certain immunity to various poisons. After she ate it, the wound on her face quickly recovered. It shouldn't take long for it to form a scab and heal completely. Mengiran's complexion improved a lot, but she still fiercely glanced at Wang Feng. "Brother Zhao, you have a good student. Thank you for your student's grilled sausages." The snake woman looked deeply at Wang Feng and then slightly nodded at Oscar. She lightly said, "The green hills don't change, and the green water flows forever. Let's meet again someday." After saying that, the snake woman turned around and left with Mengiran. Oscar still felt that he hadn't seen enough. He stood on his tiptoes and took a few glances. Mengiran was slightly older than him by 1 or 2 years. She was also quite beautiful and had a good figure. After eating the grilled sausages, she even glanced at him, causing his mind to waver. When the two of them left, Zhao Wuji slightly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, only the snake woman and her husband didn't come. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a need for this competition. As for the other 7, they immediately surrounded Wang Feng in an uproar. "Damn, Wang Feng, that move just now was so powerful. I want to learn it too. How did you do it?" Ma Hongjuan's eyes lit up. He thought that if he learned this move, wouldn't he be able to cut all the girls' clothes with a few swishes? It feels like it's somewhat similar to Tang San's hidden weapon techniques. Dai Mubai pinched his chin and pondered. However, when he looked at Ma Hongjun, he also revealed a knowing smile. "Yes, Brother Feng, it's somewhat similar to Brother's hidden weapon. But those are just leaves. How did you do it?" Little Wu was originally listless, but at this moment, she was also somewhat interested. She picked up a few leaves from the ground and threw them out with a swish. However, the leaves were only thrown out for a few seconds before they weakly floated in the air. "Humph, Wang Feng, you can't use this kind of attack on us in the future." Ning Rongrong snorted. After she finished speaking, she suddenly squinted her eyes and smiled. "You did well just now. You also made me look at you in a new light. I didn't expect you to be so ruthless as to cut a girl's face." Wang Fengxin secretly thought, "This girl is starting to have double standards." Zhu Zhuqing looked at Wang Feng. She didn't say anything, but her eyes flashed. In fact, she felt that she could have dodged that move just now, but that girl wasn't an agility-type soul master. "Hurry up, Wang Feng. I'll call you brother, okay?" Fatima looked eagerly at Wang Feng. "Brother Feng, tell us, how did you do it? I really want to learn." The others also looked at Wang Feng. Wang Feng smiled. He gently picked up a leaf with his fingers and said, "That's right. You want to learn, right? It's actually quite simple. Leaves are soft. First, we need to clearly identify the veins on the leaf. The veins on the leaf are divided into parallel veins, network veins, cross veins, tricross veins, and so on. After clearly identifying these veins, we can channel our soul power through these veins. This way, the surface structure of the leaf won't be damaged. After the soul power is channeled in, we need to perform microcontrol. This is because the inside of the leaf is roughly divided into the epidermis, the mesophyll, and the veins. Remember, the main point of soul power input is the mesophyll and mesophyll. This is because there are things called chloroplasts in the mesophyll. These things are specialized in photosynthesis. They can absorb light. Simply speaking, they absorb energy. Therefore, soul power can be stored in them, causing the leaf to become extremely hard. This requires a certain amount of control over soul power. If we're not careful, we'll destroy the chloroplasts and the soul power will dissipate, making it difficult to make the leaf hard. And the veins are the direction of the leaf's interior. They're the key to controlling the direction of the leaf by controlling our soul power and sending it out. After clearly identifying the veins, we can use the strength of our fingers and drive the leaf with soul power to throw it out. It'll hit wherever you point it. As he spoke, Wang Feng gently channeled his soul power into the leaf. Then, with a swoosh, it was thrown out. Zing, the tree branch 10 meters away was pierced and trembled slightly. Wang Feng clapped his hands and said with a smile, "Isn't it very simple?" Chapter 110. Actually, when Wang Feng spoke, everyone was very excited at first because this technique was not complicated and they felt that they should be able to learn it. Even Zhao Wuji came over to take a look with interest. After all, he was a soul sage. He should be able to learn this kind of little trick, right? However, they listened to Wang Feng slowly finish speaking. Everyone's expressions slowly turned from excitement to calmness and finally to stupefaction, until the end. Everyone. What are you talking about? Fatty Ma's expression changed the most. He was very excited just now, but now he was completely dumbfounded. Even Tang San was a little stunned. In his previous life, Tang San roughly knew this kind of leaf-picking technique to injure people. It was similar to his hidden weapon technique. But to use a leaf as a hidden weapon, it required extremely strong internal strength and exquisite control. At least a martial arts grandmaster could do it. Picking leaves and flying flowers could hurt people. However, the power of Brother Feng's leaf was only about 10 meters. It was not far. Therefore, compared to his real hidden weapon, it was much worse. But this was enough to see Brother Feng's intelligence. He was a real genius. After all, Brother Feng had never learned any hidden weapon technique. But now, after listening to Brother Feng's explanation, Tang San was dumbfounded. Wait, I'm a hidden weapon master of the Tang sect. Why can't I understand a few words? Chloroplast? Absorb energy? What the hell is this? Is this what a genius is? Tang San was a little confused. Countless question marks appeared in the minds of the crowd. Wang Feng had a stupefied expression on his face. Looking at your expressions, you should have learned it. Wang Feng sighed. No wonder they're all monsters from Shrek Academy. Even I, Wang Feng, can't help but admit that I'm inferior to them. Back then, I had to train for a long time before I was able to master them. I didn't expect you to learn it just by talking about it. Everyone, Teacher Zhao, do you want to cover for them? Wang Feng handed Zhao Wuji a leaf. Zhao Wuji looked at the sky and suddenly said, "Cough, cough. Hey, the weather is good today. Xiao Ao, hurry up and absorb the soul ring. Don't waste any more time. That's right, this snake is still a bit jumpy. I'll go watch it, lest it runs away." After saying that, Zhao Wuji walked towards the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. As he walked, he looked at the sky and muttered, "The weather is really good." Everyone looked up at the sky. What kind of weather is this? The towering trees were so dense that not a single complete cloud could be seen. Ha 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 ha, everyone couldn't help but laugh. Wang Feng also smiled. He had practiced the flower picking leaves for a few days back then, mainly because of Tang San's hidden weapons. Wang Feng couldn't make those hidden weapons himself, but he wanted to use them like those martial arts masters in his previous life, so he used leaf as a hidden weapon. As for the method of controlling it, it was just as he had said. He had failed many times, but he had learned it in a few days. In essence, it was just an exquisite control of soul power. But in reality, it was not very useful because Leaf's strength was limited. It could only hurt people at close range, just like when he and Mengyuran were about 10 meters apart. But it was useless if it was a little further away. Moreover, it was difficult to cause any damage to a soul warrior who could be possessed by a martial soul. Agility-type soul warriors could dodge it, but compared to Tang San's real hidden weapons, it was naturally far inferior. Simply put, it could only be used to show off. It could catch the opponent off guard, but it was not practical in a real fight. The only advantage was that it could be used to practice the control of soul power. Everyone played around for a while. After knowing that they couldn't learn the ability to hurt people with leaf-picking leaves for the time being, they began to protect Oscar and began to absorb the soul ring of the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. Not long after, under everyone's protection, Oscar finished absorbing the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. 3 soul rings slowly rose from under his feet, and his entire body changed slightly. He looked more energetic, and his eyes flickered with a faint 7-colored light, which was somewhat similar to the 7-colored spray released by the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. In the midst of playing around, Oscar released his 3rd soul skill. I have a mushroom sausage. Although they were laughing, the effect of this mushroom sausage was really powerful. It could make people fly in midair for a minute. Even if it was only for a minute, it was an extremely powerful effect. And it was at the speed of the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. Hearing this, while everyone was amazed, Ning Rongrong felt a little uncomfortable. She was known as the continent's #1 7 treasures glazed pagoda support, but Oscar's support ability was indeed not inferior to hers. However, thinking about Wang Feng's divine soul skill, Ning Rongrong suddenly felt much better, and she felt inexplicably proud. After solving the problem of Oscar's soul ring, everyone rested on the spot for a while. Oscar's soul ring has been obtained. Next, it's Wang Feng's soul ring. Zhao Wuji shouted loudly, pulling everyone out of the laughing atmosphere. Wang Feng, how old is your 3rd soul ring? Everyone couldn't help but look at Wang Feng. After Zhao Wuji finished speaking, he was also a little nervous. He was a rank 76 soul sage. Wang Feng, this little monster, had a 10,000-year 2nd soul ring. Then his 3rd soul ring would definitely be at least 10,000 year, right? If it was a 10,000-year soul beast, it would be easy for him to deal with it as long as it wasn't strong. As for a 20,000-year soul beast, as long as it wasn't strong, there was a chance to fight to the death. For a 30,000-year soul beast, the best choice was to escape. For a 40 to 60,000-year soul beast, it was very difficult and almost impossible. There was no chance for him to go any higher. There was no need to even think about it. He couldn't even escape. Although a 10,000-year soul beast corresponded to a soul emperor to a soul Douluo, in reality, it still depended on the type of soul beast. Therefore, Zhao Wuji planned to find a 20,000-year or 10,000-year soul beast. It was the safest. Me? I'm not in a hurry. Little 3 should be at rank 30, right? Let's deal with him first. Wang Feng smiled and didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Tang San. He needed a 30,000-year soul beast. With Zhao Wuji's strength, it should be very difficult to deal with it. It was unlikely. Moreover, it also depended on luck. Zhao Wuji was stunned and looked at Tang San. Teacher, I did reach rank 30 just now. Tang San clenched his fists and felt the surging soul power in his body as he said with a smile. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Good, good, good. 2 12-year-old soul elders. The two of you have broken our Shrek Academy's record. Zhao Wuji laughed out loud. Xiao Wu happily hugged Tang San's arm. The others also looked at Tang San with strange expressions. When Wang Feng was tested previously, he was roughly at rank 30. They didn't expect Tang San to reach rank 30 so quickly. 2 12-year-old soul elders. Are you kidding me? I just became a soul elder at the age of 14. I haven't had the time to be happy yet. Oscar looked at the two of them and said speechlessly, the two of you are about to break Boss Dai's record. Dai Mubai also shrugged and expressed that he was speechless, but he didn't feel uncomfortable. Chapter 111. Records are meant to be broken. Wang Feng said with a smile, otherwise, what's the use of these records? Sooner or later, our record will be broken by someone else. Everyone was stunned by these words. Records are meant to be broken. Tang San was startled and nodded. Brother Feng is right. Yeah, we're from Monster Academy. We're all monsters. We're used to this kind of record. Oscar chuckled. Xiao Wu hugged Tang San's arm excitedly. After hearing this, she giggled softly. I will also work hard and catch up to you and Brother Feng as soon as possible. Tang San nodded. Although Xiao Wu's cultivation speed seemed to be playing around every day, she was not slower than him at all. At this time, after everyone packed up, they began to search for Tang San's soul ring. Zhao Wuji was also quite cautious. In order to prevent Snake Lady and Duke Long from following their tracks, he covered their tracks and only searched in the outer forest. He also did not go deep. Thus, from morning until evening, they did not find a soul beast suitable for Tang San. Although they encountered several thousand-year soul beasts along the way, they were not what Tang San needed. Wang Feng naturally knew what Tang San's third soul ring was, but he did not know the exact location of the man-faced demon spider and could not quickly help Tang San obtain it. Moreover, this should be an opportunity that belonged to Tang San himself and could not be forced. When the time came, they would naturally encounter it. After today's battle, the tacit understanding between the seven of them became better and better. Dealing with some weaker thousand-year soul beasts was also smooth. Even without Zhao Wuji's help, they could easily finish the battle. As for Wang Feng, as the biggest trump card among the seven of them, he generally did not make a move easily. He even just watched from afar. In addition, he had rich combat experience and could give the seven of them a lot of pointers when dealing with many soul beasts. He had a lot of experience, and his theoretical knowledge of soul beasts was even more extensive than Tang San's. Therefore, although Wang Feng did not participate in the battle of the seven of them, his indirect help was not small. A day passed just like that. Night fell. At this moment, a streak of sword light flew over from outside the great Star Do forest. As for Zhao Wuji and the others, they naturally didn't know either. They had already walked a long way in the great Star Do forest. During the night's rest time, it was very dark because they couldn't light a fire. Fortunately, they found a relatively open area where they could see the bright moon in the sky and the stars in the sky. I'm afraid this kind of scene can only be seen here, right? Wang Feng looked at the sky full of stars and couldn't help but sigh. Although the world of his hometown was prosperous, it was rare to see stars twinkling in the sky even in the countryside. On the other side, everyone had already set up their tents. After dinner, they all went to rest. Not long after, Wang Feng overheard the conversation between Tang San and Zhao Wuji. The current Soul Beast forest is much more desolate than before. In the past, thousand-year soul beasts could be seen everywhere. Soul beasts are ferocious, but we humans are even more ferocious. Although the number of soul masters is small, every soul master needs to kill at least a few soul beasts. Furthermore, as we humans become stronger, we need more soul rings. The more powerful we are, the fewer soul beasts there will be. In the end, it will be difficult to see thousand-year soul beasts. My teacher said that if we try to hunt as few soul beasts as possible, that we don't need them. Unfortunately, how much can we do with just us? When they were talking, the two of them were silent. Xiao Wu, who was in the tent, was very depressed after hearing this. Wang Feng also shook his head. The soul beasts were actually restrained by the martial spirit hall, but unfortunately, it was useless. The number of soul beasts was always decreasing. In essence, the desire of humans to become stronger would never disappear. As long as it didn't disappear, under this system, one side would inevitably decline and it would be difficult to reach a balance. I remember that in Douluo 2, spirit souls appeared and slightly changed the structure of the Douluo world. It eased the fighting between soul beasts and soul masters. And later on, man-made spirit souls. Thinking of this, Wang Feng sighed. He didn't know how many years it would be. Wang Feng didn't want to change the structure. They were so weak, how could they change anything? At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly stood up, looked into the distance, and murmured, "It seems like it's coming." With his keen perception of soul beasts, he sensed an extremely terrifying aura heading their way before Zhao Wuji did. The Titan giant ape. Wang Feng knew that he was here to take Xiao Wu away, and that there would be a big battle with everyone later. Wang Feng didn't want to tell everyone about Xiao Wu. Even if he did, they wouldn't believe him. Moreover, Xiao Wu should indeed leave with the Titan giant ape for a while. Anyway, she wouldn't be injured at all. And if not, Tang San wouldn't have gone out alone at night to obtain the man-faced demon spider's soul ring and soul bone. This was Tang San's opportunity. Wang Feng naturally didn't care. What he needed to do was to protect the safety of the group as much as possible so that they wouldn't be injured by the battle of the Titan giant ape. His goal was clear. At this moment, the conversation in the distance came to an abrupt end. Zhao Wuji suddenly stood up and took a few steps forward, pulling Tang San behind him. 7 soul rings lit up from Zhao Wuji's body. His martial soul, the strength Vajra bear, emitted an extremely cold and fierce aura. "Everyone, leave the tent, quick!" Zhao Wuji shouted, and his voice instantly spread to several tents. At the same time, after his voice sounded, a group of people walked out one after another. They were very fast. Wang Feng also walked over. After everyone walked out, they looked at each other. They didn't know why Zhao Wuji said that. What happened? I don't have time to explain now. Zhao Wuji looked ahead with an extremely serious expression. If anything happens later, don't worry about me and leave immediately. Wang Feng, you'll be in charge of protecting them later. You must leave the Great Star Do Forest safely. Wang Feng was the strongest among them, even stronger than Dai Mubai. At this moment, Zhao Wuji naturally had to hand this task to Wang Feng. Wang Feng's expression turned serious. He looked ahead and explained to everyone in a low voice, "It's a soul beast, an extremely powerful soul beast." Everyone rarely heard the words "extremely powerful" from Wang Feng's mouth. During the battle during the day, Wang Feng was also very disdainful of many thousand-year soul beasts. He guided them to hunt and kill them with ease. At this moment, when they heard Wang Feng's serious words, they were suddenly alarmed. They also somewhat understood why Teacher Zhao was so serious. However, they still didn't understand enough, until a few seconds later. Everyone saw a very strange scene. The 2 towering trees in front of them suddenly split into 2, as if they were directly crushed by some huge force. A huge figure directly walked out from the middle of the 2 trees. In an instant, almost everyone's breathing stopped. Chapter 112. Wang Feng also took in a deep breath. Even though he was mentally prepared, this was the first time he had seen such a terrifying creature in his 2 lives. The Titan giant ape in front of him was like a mountain standing in the distance. Its black fur emitted a faint glow under the cold moonlight. Just its shoulders were more than 7 meters tall, and its entire body was at least 15 meters tall. The pair of lantern-sized eyes flickered with a yellow crystal-like light. In the dark night they were like two laser beams, emitting a light that made one shudder. This is even more exaggerated than King Kong in the movies. Wang Fengxian took a deep breath, but he wasn't afraid. This was because he knew that this Titan giant ape wouldn't hurt them for the time being because Xiao Wu was here. He was just shocked by this giant beast that only appeared in movies in his previous life. Furthermore, in comparison, this Titan giant ape was a true ferocious beast. It was far from what King Kong could compare to. This fellow could use skills. As for what skills they were, Wang Feng didn't know. Those who knew were basically dead. It's the king of the forest, the Titan giant ape. Tang San's voice was trembling. Even if they didn't know its name, this terrifying soul beast's size was enough to scare people. Even if it was only a 100-year soul beast, it was comparable to a 10,000-year soul beast. What kind of concept was this? This was equivalent to a rank 30 soul master being able to challenge a rank 60 soul emperor. This is like me among soul beasts. Wang Fengxian couldn't help but complain. After all, he still had a gold finger. He was born with it. At this moment, other than Wang Feng and Xiao Wu, everyone trembled after hearing Tang San's words. They couldn't understand why such a terrifying soul beast would appear in the periphery. Even in the core of the Great Star Do Forest, this Titan giant ape was rarely seen. If not for Xiao Wu, I would be as lucky as winning 10 million in the lottery to encounter such a soul beast in the periphery, Wang Feng thought to himself. Fortunately, this Titan giant ape stopped not far in front of them and didn't move. Everyone was so frightened that they didn't dare to move. This feeling was like being targeted by a ferocious tiger. If you moved, it would pounce and bite you. Instinctively, no one dared to move. At this moment, Zhao Wuji spoke in a deep voice. Respected King of the Forest, we have no intention of offending you. If this is your territory, we will leave immediately. The Titan giant apes possessed intelligence that was on par with humans. However, after Zhao Wuji finished speaking, he felt a chill in his heart. Territory? Even if this was its territory, why would a 10,000-year Titan ape come out to cause trouble for a few soul cultivators? Zhao Wuji couldn't understand at all. But at this time, Zhao Wuji didn't need to think about these things. What he needed to think about was how to let the child behind him leave safely. What should he do? However, the Titan giant ape remained motionless. Zhao Wuji broke out in a cold sweat and became more and more anxious. Scenes flashed through his mind like lightning. He said in a low voice, "I'll hold him off. You guys eat Oscar's mushroom sausage and leave this place. Quick! Don't hesitate. If we hesitate, none of us will be able to leave here alive." After speaking, Zhao Wuji's soul rings lit up and he charged forward. In the blink of an eye, several of Zhao Wuji's soul rings shone brightly. Gravity increase and gravity squeeze were activated simultaneously. Soul skills were used crazily as if they didn't require soul power. However, they were still methodical and not reckless. Wang Feng was silent for a second. He wanted to persuade everyone to leave because he knew that the Titan giant ape's target was Xiao Wu. If they didn't attack, they wouldn't be injured at all. But at this time, they obviously couldn't leave. Wang Feng couldn't push Xiao Wu out directly either. Otherwise, those who didn't know would probably kill him. Wang Feng, take them and leave first. I'll go and help teacher. Dai Mubai's body shone. White Tiger Possession and his third soul skill, Vajra White Tiger Transformation, was activated. His body swelled up and dense fur covered his body. His tiger claws flashed and looked sharper than Zhu Zhuqing's cat claws. They were full of power and destructive power. After speaking, Dai Mubai charged forward. Seeing this, Wang Fengxian sighed. At this time, the rest of them looked at Wang Feng with determined eyes. As the monsters of Shrek Academy, it was impossible for them to give up. It was even more impossible for them to abandon their teacher and leave. "I won't leave." Ning Rongrong's soft voice sounded. "Wang Feng, are you leaving?" As she spoke, 2 soul rings lit up and the 7 treasures glazed pagoda appeared in her hands. The first of the 7 treasures is strength. The second is speed. 2 rays of light directly blessed everyone, including Zhao Wuji and Dai Mubai. Under this blessing, Zhao Wuji's palm fiercely hit the Titan giant ape. Its speed and strength increased, and it was even more terrifying. Wang Feng closed his eyes and said in a low voice, "Little 3, don't try to control the Titan giant ape. Use your blue-silver grass to support teacher Zhao and Dai Mubai. Don't use your hidden weapons at all, because they can't cause any damage to the Titan giant ape. It might even enrage him to the maximum. Remember, don't attack the Titan giant ape." Titans were very strong. Tang San's hidden weapons might be able to cause damage to the Titan giant ape's eyes and other weak spots, but with the Titan giant ape's reaction speed, there was no chance. Once it was angered, even if Xiao Wu was present, it would be hard to avoid killing a few people. "Fatty, you don't need to rush forward. Don't use your phoenix flames. Once you use them, it will definitely attract other soul beasts. At that time, it won't be a problem with the Titan giant ape. You just need to protect them from Xiao Wu and Oscar. This will prevent the fierce battle from attracting other soul beasts." Although Fatty Ma's flames had a strong burning effect, it wouldn't be of much use against the Titan giant ape. Moreover, once they moved, the flames would fill the sky. Although the surrounding air was moist and the fire wouldn't spread easily, it would definitely attract other soul beasts at night. Coupled with the commotion caused by the battle, some soul beasts that only appeared at night would be even harder to deal with. When they were surrounded by enemies, it would be even more difficult to deal with. "Zhu Zhuqing, don't move. Go around and see if there are other soul beasts nearby. If you find anything, report it immediately. Oscar, make the mushroom sausage now. Just in case." After he finished speaking, Wang Feng slowly walked forward. Everyone was stunned. "So we don't need to do anything?" But everyone had their own mission. Wang Feng's words seemed to make sense. Wang Feng had no other choice. Zhao Wuji and Dai Mubai had already charged forward. If he were to charge forward as well, if they went forward, they would all be injured. Chapter 113. With that, Wang Feng glanced at Xiao Wu and realized that she was still in a daze. In the face of such a huge difference in strength, any attack was useless. Right at this moment, a scene that made everyone's hearts tremble appeared. The moment Zhao Wuji's mighty Vajra palm landed on the Titan ape's body, he was sent flying like a cannonball. The Titan ape was enraged by the attack and let out an earth-shattering roar. A terrifying black force erupted in the surroundings like a hurricane, causing countless towering trees to bend and break. The scene was extremely shocking. Due to Wang Feng's instructions, Tang San did not attack the Titan giant ape. Instead, he was already prepared. Countless vines sprouted from the ground and caught Zhao Wuji. However, the rebound force was too strong. Tang San almost used all of his soul power and formed a wall of vines that was dozens of layers thick before he could barely catch Zhao Wuji. Dai Mubai did not even manage to reach the Titan ape before he was sent flying by the force of the roar. Fortunately, Wang Feng arrived in time and blocked Dai Mubai's back, stopping him from retreating. At this moment, the Titan ape roared and directly attacked Xiao Wu. It was as fast as a ghost. Before anyone could react, the Titan ape's figure covered the moon and pounced towards them. Under the black shadow, everyone was shocked and their faces turned pale. For a moment, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Dai Mubai felt a premonition of death. Fortunately, Tang San reacted quickly. After letting go of Zhao Wuji, he activated Ghost Shadow Perplexing Track and sent Xiao Wu flying. It was as if even if he died, he could not let Xiao Wu die. No! Zhao Wuji, who was far away, suddenly activated his martial soul true body and attacked the Titan ape. Martial soul true body could only be activated by a rank 70 beast martial soul. After activating it, one's strength would increase exponentially. It could use any soul skill below Soul Ring for half an hour without restriction. It was a core soul skill that truly risked one's life. Zhao Wuji's mighty Vajra Bear could also increase his defense by 200%. At this moment, he did not know how many he could save, but he would save as many as he could. Although a person's strength was limited, Zhao Wuji could not watch all the students die. How could he have the face to go back? However, it was impossible to save everyone. Right at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the middle of everyone. It was Wang Feng. The Titan giant ape was so huge that the 7 of them weren't even enough for a single slap from him. Not to mention, his entire body was pouncing over. Just the overwhelming force Wang Feng's was enough to kill everyone. Black Lotus! Wang Feng shouted in a low voice. The soul power in Wang Feng's body surged and poured into the green lotus inside his body. In an instant, the 3rd lotus seed quietly bloomed. Black. Pure black color black. In Wang Feng's palm, an extreme black color suddenly gushed out. Black black lotus black black lotus. This was level 30, the 3rd form of the Chaos Green Lotus. Black lotus black. Wang Feng directly poured his rank 30 compressed and purified soul power into the Black Lotus without holding back at all. In the legends of the primordial era, this grade 12 Black Lotus had an extremely terrifying defense. It could also absorb all kinds of evil and tyrannical auras for cultivation and other effects. Wang Feng had never tested this grade 12 Black Lotus in the form of a martial soul before, but he could guess what it was used for. Its defense was definitely very strong. He did not use the deification skill previously and gave it to Zhao Wuji because he planned to save his soul power to activate the Black Lotus's ability. Furthermore, even if he gave Zhao Wuji a 3-fold boost, it was impossible for him to defeat the Titan ape. Unless he was a soul Douluo and Wang Feng gave him a deification skill, he might have a chance of defeating the Titan ape. But it was only a possibility, and the chances were very, very low. A pitch-black light suddenly bloomed from the Black Lotus. Several rays of black light flew out from the Black Lotus and landed on the 9 of them, as if they were wearing a thick layer of black armor. Immediately after, the Black Lotus surged into the air and turned into a huge lotus platform. It emitted a light barrier that enveloped everyone. Everyone looked at this scene in astonishment. Looking at the Black Lotus, they could vaguely feel an ice-cold dark aura that was extremely terrifying. Even Zhao Wuji, who was rushing over, was stunned. The next moment, the Titan giant ape swooped down. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Bang! Almost at the moment the Titan ape pressed down, the pitch-black light barrier surged. It blocked the Titan ape for 2 to 3 breaths. Hurry up and leave. Don't just stand there. After Wang Feng used the Black Lotus, he suddenly shouted. Taking advantage of these few breaths of time, everyone suddenly came back to their senses and scattered in all directions. It was also at this moment. Boom! The light barrier formed by the Black Lotus shattered. The Black Lotus surged back into Wang Feng's body. Pooh! The light barrier only lasted for a few seconds and broke in almost 2 blinks of an eye. The huge backlash caused Wang Feng to vomit a mouthful of blood. This Titan ape was too ferocious. It was just a leap without using any other power, and he could not withstand it at all. Wang Feng's face was a little pale. After the Titan ape broke through the light barrier, it grabbed Xiao Wu, who had been sent flying by Tang San, with one hand and slammed her to the ground. Rumble! The ground around them cracked open. A huge shockwave hit them. Fortunately, everyone had already left the range and was not crushed to death by the Titan ape. They were only sent flying by the shockwave. In addition, their bodies were enveloped by the black light from the Black Lotus, which blocked the shockwave. Everyone was only sent flying, and they were not injured. Wang Feng heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. Although he was injured, it was only because he had exhausted his soul power. In addition, it was his first time using the Black Lotus. The light barrier was broken, and he suffered a backlash. He was not seriously injured. However, Wang Feng did have an idea of the Black Lotus ability. What a terrifying defensive ability! Not to mention the fact that he did not have a soul ring, the Black Lotus ability alone was a large-scale defensive coverage. Even the Titan ape's body could block it for 2 to 3 seconds. Don't look down on these 2 to 3 seconds. This was abnormal enough. Even if Zhao Wuji, who had activated his martial soul true body, could block it for 3 seconds? If he could block it, even if he did not die, he would be seriously injured. Furthermore, this was a large-scale defensive coverage. Wang Feng glanced and saw that the Titan ape had already grabbed Xiao Wu's body with one hand. He heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. It was just right for this Titan ape to take Xiao Wu away. No one was injured. Only teacher Zhao was a little miserable. However, this was the perfect outcome. As he thought of this, Wang Feng was about to hide in a pit at the side. He planned to sneak to the side and get away from the Titan ape. However, at this moment, a huge hand grabbed Wang Feng, who was about to sneak away. Roar! The Titan ape grabbed Wang Feng, who was about to sneak away. After that, it roared at Zhao Wuji and the rest. It looked at Xiao Wu in its hand, and then at the human who had blocked it for a few seconds. It ignored everyone and turned to run. After a few leaps, it disappeared from everyone's sight. Wang Feng was stunned. "Little brother, why did you grab me?" Almost at the same time, a few screams sounded. "Xiao Wu! Wang Feng!" Chapter 114. They watched as the Titan giant ape grabbed Xiao Wu with one hand and Wang Feng with the other. Everyone froze in place. The Titan giant ape leaped a few times and disappeared from everyone's sight. Several screams rang out from their mouths one after another. Although the Titan giant ape's pressure was shocking, their bodies were covered in a layer of light released by the Black Lotus, which blocked part of it. In addition, they dodged in time, so they were basically uninjured. However, they never expected that Xiao Wu, who had been sent flying by Tang San, would be caught by the Titan giant ape. Even Wang Feng was caught. The group of people got up from the ground one after another. Zhao Wuji's expression was extremely ugly. The battle was over, and his martial soul true body was deactivated. However, he was also looking into the distance, silent for a long time. Turning back, Zhao Wuji looked at the remaining 6 people who only had some scratches. He was shocked and felt extremely guilty. He was shocked that Wang Feng had really protected them and blocked the Titan giant ape for a few seconds, although he didn't know how he did it. He felt guilty that he wasn't strong enough and didn't. Teacher Zhao. Ning Rongrong said he's going to find Wang Feng and Xiao Wu. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing tugged at the pale-faced Ning Rongrong. The rest of them also had ugly expressions. The one who spoke was Oscar. Tang Sen also clenched his fists tightly, his eyes bloodshot. Zhao Wuji glanced at Ning Rongrong and said with a dark expression, "Although I don't know why the Titan giant ape appeared here, I've let everyone down. I couldn't stop this. However, Ning Rongrong, you can't go. My condolences." What kind of joke was this? Looking for the Titan giant ape at this time? Now there were 7 of them. Not only were they able to survive, but they were also not injured. This was an outcome that no one could have imagined. Were they all going to die at this time? Zhao Wuji would never let this happen. Dai Mubai and the others fell silent. No one was stupid. They all knew what it meant to go at this time. Ning Rongrong's eyes were red and filled with tears. Zhu Zhuqing, who had stopped her, also looked very pale. She clenched her fists so hard that her knuckles turned white. Obviously, she was extremely unwilling, but she had to admit that this was the truth. Are we just going to give up like this? Abandon your companions? Oscar whispered. If you go now. Zhao Wuji glanced at everyone and said in a deep voice, then everything Wang Feng did just now was for nothing. Do you know? If he hadn't blocked the Titan Ape's attack for a few seconds, all of you would have been heavily injured. There was a risk of death. Don't let his efforts go to waste. I'm sure all of you understand this logic. Now listen to me and take a rest. Calm down first. Then they would discuss countermeasures. Giving up was impossible. But you can't be so reckless. Zhao Wuji's voice was very loud and very serious. Everyone knew that Xiao Wu and Wang Feng, who had been captured, had no chance of surviving. However, everyone remained silent. At this moment, Tang San whispered to Oscar, who was beside him, Oscar, Brother Feng asked you to make mushroom sausages in advance, right? Give me one. His voice was extremely weak. Oscar was stunned. Wang Feng had asked him to make 7 mushroom sausages in advance, but how could he give them to Tang San now? Xiao Wu is my sister and my family. Brother Feng is my best friend. If your family and friends were taken away, would you be willing to accept it? Brother Feng was taken away to protect us from harm. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Oscar, I can't convince myself. I'll just leave like this. Tang San's voice sounded like he was possessed, and it made Oscar's heart tremble. Yes, can I leave with peace of mind? Oscar asked himself. F***CKU. Oscar quietly passed the sausages to Tang San. At this moment, when everyone was so quiet, Zhao Wuji noticed their little movements almost instantly. But it was too late. Tang San ate the sausages. A pair of transparent wings that looked like butterfly spots appeared on his back, and he flew out. Teacher Zhao, I'm sorry, but I can't leave. I want to find Brother Feng and Xiao Wu. Even if they're dead, I want to see their bodies with my own eyes. I'm sorry. After saying that, Tang San flew out. I want to go too. Ning Rongrong walked to Oscar's side. Her 7 treasures glazed pagoda rose and gave Tang San a buff, then gave herself a buff. However, she was one step too slow and was blocked by Zhao Wuji. Nonsense. What nonsense? Zhao Wuji's face was livid. He looked at the stubborn Ning Rongrong and the others and sighed. Teacher Zhao, Tang San said he couldn't convince himself to leave just like that. I don't think I can convince him either. Oscar stepped forward and said, Teacher, Oscar is right. We can't convince ourselves to leave just like that. Dai Mubai also stepped forward. Yes, Wang Feng was taken away to protect us. If we leave just like that, are we still human? Ma Hongjun took a step forward. Zhu Zhuqing didn't say anything and stepped forward. Forget it. You're nothing. Zhao Wuji cursed. What a bunch of ignorant brats. Fine, if you're not afraid of death, then go and find him. If you can't find him, we'll die together. Is that okay? Oscar, hurry up and take out your grilled sausages. Everyone was stunned. Just as Oscar took out the grilled sausages in the distance, a sword light cut through the night and landed in front of everyone. A faint voice sounded. I've finally found you. You're Zhao Wuji, right? Hurry up and call that kid called Wang Feng out. The sudden voice instantly stunned everyone. In the distance, a white-robed old man with white hair and a youthful complexion was standing on a sword. He looked like an immortal descending upon the crowd. At this moment, Ning Rongrong was stunned and the surprise in her eyes widened. She ran over and hugged the old man while crying. Grandpa Jian, why are you here? Grandpa Jian? Title Douluo? Zhao Wuji's pupils constricted. The sword Douluo looked at the sobbing Ning Rongrong, and his calm demeanor was instantly replaced by rage. Rongrong, why are you crying again? Let me tell you, who bullied you? Is it that kid called Wang Feng again? Don't worry, Grandpa is here today to help you vent your anger. He actually dared to kick you. I'll tie him up today and let you kick him as much as you want. The sword Douluo was furious. Looking at Rongrong, who was usually very precious, crying like a pear blossom in the rain, he couldn't help but feel his liver ache. What a bastard! After speaking, 9 soul rings lit up on the sword Douluo's body. 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black. Everyone was stunned. Everyone. Title Douluo? The sword Douluo of the 7 treasure glazed tile sect Dai Mubai whispered. As a prince of the Star Luo Empire, he could still guess. But wait, when did Wang Feng kick Ning Rongrong? You are Lord Chinexan? Zhao Wuji stuck his head out and asked tentatively. Chapter 115. Zhao Wuji, how does your Shrek Academy discipline its students? Zhao Wuji glared at Zhao Wuji coldly. You actually let Rongrong suffer so much? Zhao Wuji opened his mouth and didn't know what to say. Although he knew about Wang Feng and Ning Rongrong, he didn't expect the sword Douluo to come at this time. At this moment, Ning Rongrong wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and hurriedly whispered, No, it's not Zhao Wuji. No, it has nothing to do with Teacher Zhao. It's Wang Feng and I, Grandpa Jian, let's not talk so much. Hurry up and help me save Wang Feng. Hurry up. Sword Douluo. What? Save that kid? The sword Douluo looked at Ning Rongrong and was puzzled. What's wrong with this girl? He bullied you and even made you cry. Why do you want me to save him? Did she change her personality? Ning Rongrong hurriedly recounted what had just happened in a few sentences. After hearing this, the sword Douluo fell silent. Interesting. The sword Douluo looked into the distance, and a strange glint flashed across his eyes. A mere rank 30 soul master can block the Titan giant ape for 2 to 3 seconds at the critical moment and protect the 6 of you. Tell me, where is he? With the sword Douluo's participation, Zhao Wuji and the others immediately felt much more confident and heaved a sigh of relief. However, the crowd was still not optimistic. After the Titan giant ape grabbed Xiao Wu and Wang Feng, it ran all the way. However, at this moment, no one could see the scene in front of them. Xiao Wu wasn't caught in the palm, but sitting on the Titan giant ape's shoulder. Wang Feng couldn't see it either, because he was still caught in the Titan giant ape's palm. The bumpy journey almost made his soul leave his body. This was simply differential treatment. This Titan giant ape was running on all fours, and he was in one of its palms. This was simply an experience of riding a death roller coaster. In addition to the backlash just now, he suffered some internal injuries and fainted. Big Ming quickly let go of Brother Feng. Xiao Wu sat on the Titan giant ape's shoulder and said anxiously, He fainted. Why did you grab him? Hurry up and let him out. Roar, roar, roar. The Titan giant ape let out a few strange roars, but shook its head. It could not put a human on its shoulders. You said that you were curious. How could he block you and make you feel uncomfortable? You caught him and wanted to eat him. That's strange. How did Big Brother Feng stop you? No, you can't eat him. Big Brother Feng is my friend. If you dare to eat him, I will disown you. Xiao Wu frowned and said, Quick, put him down. I want to go back with him. But at this moment, the Titan ape suddenly glanced behind him, stopped, and growled a few words. Xiao Wu was also stunned by this roar. Are you saying that a titled Douluo is coming? Xiao Wu thought for a moment, and her expression became a little gloomy. Then leave Brother Feng here. They should be able to find him later. You and I will go back to Big Ming's side first. We'll come out after that titled Douluo leaves. It'll also be a good opportunity to increase our soul power. Roar, roar, roar. The Titan giant ape swung its arm and flung Wang Feng out, hanging him on a tree. What are you doing, Ming? Be gentler. Xiao Wu immediately shouted. The Titan giant ape had an innocent look on its face as it continued to run with Xiao Wu, heading deeper into the forest. Ming, we're already in the depths of the forest. Big Brother Feng has fainted. It's dangerous, Xiao Wu said. Oh, what does it have to do with me? Who asked him to hold me back? Xiao Wu was speechless. Wang Feng fell onto a towering tree, and he slowly regained consciousness not long after. His injuries weren't serious, but the Titan giant ape had been too bumpy, and he was like a patient with a fever riding a roller coaster. Even an Iron Man wouldn't be able to take it. However, Wang Feng's body was very strong, and he woke up not long after the bumpy ride. That fall didn't cause him any harm, but the tree was bent from the impact. What's going on? Wang Feng shook his head as he regained consciousness. This should be the depths of the Star Do Forest, right? Xiao Wu must have asked the Titan giant ape to keep me here. However, logically speaking, Xiao Wu should have chosen to go back with me. At most, she would have secretly increased her soul power while I was unconscious so that I wouldn't know her secret. Why did she leave me here alone? Wang Feng was a little perplexed. He didn't know that the sword Douluo was already here. In fact, Wang Feng wasn't worried at all about being caught by the Titan giant ape. When I become stronger, I'll hang you up and give you a good beating, you gorilla! Wang Feng cursed as he touched his soft body. At this moment there was a sudden commotion in the distance, and there were also strange roars. Wang Feng's expression changed when he saw this. It's a soul beast. Damn it, I don't have any soul power now. I'm still a little injured, and I can only deal with a 2,000-year soul beast with my physical fitness. Furthermore, I haven't fully recovered yet. Wang Feng had used up all his soul power. He had a strong physical fitness in this space-time, and he was also injured, so he could only use part of his strength. It was very dangerous. Even with the meteoric tear, Wang Feng couldn't replenish his soul power in such a short time. He needed at least an hour to recover some of his soul power. It was important to know that his rank 30 soul power wasn't the same as an ordinary rank 30 soul master's soul power. The Golden Lotus didn't have much effect on him, and it wasn't a perpetual motion machine. Wang Feng's heart sank and he took a deep breath. He jumped lightly, as if he was already used to the terrain of this forest, and jumped onto another tree. He jumped around in the forest for a few minutes. Not long after, Wang Feng saw a huge figure in the distance, and his pupils shrank. 10,000-year soul beast, the thorned Xuanwu turtle? In the distance, there was a small stream that was about 10 meters wide, and beside the stream, there was a huge turtle. It was at least 7 to 8 meters long and 3 to 4 meters tall, and it was patrolling in the distance. This turtle looked very ferocious, and there were 3 protruding ridges on its back. Its shields were brown in color, and the 33 shields were like 33 small mountains. They were arranged in 3 rows, and there were many serrated protrusions on the edges of its back, making it look like an armored dinosaur. Its tail was thin and long, and it was as hard as a steel whip. It gently swept across the corundum, and in an instant, stone chips flew everywhere. Its light blue body, from afar, looked like a super-large caravan. It's 3 meters tall, and there are a total of 33 shields on its back. Its entire body is light blue, which means that it's a 30,000-year thorned Xuanwu turtle. Wang Feng looked at the thorned Xuanwu turtle in the distance with a burning gaze. This was an extremely rare 10,000-year soul beast that could both attack and defend. The thorns on its back could almost reflect an extremely strong force. It was an ability that many defense-type soul masters desired and needed. My Black Lotus has extremely strong defensive abilities. If I absorb the strength of this thorned Xuanwu turtle, it means that I can reflect attacks. It can complement many soul skills that I can't use Reversing Universe to avoid. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.